It's time to turn the channel of the Keeler Show today.
Why do we always listen?
Keeler's always in the know.
It makes me want to call him
and tell him where to go. And now let's get things started. Andrew, let's get things started.
It's time to get things started.
On the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational, Keelerational. This is what we call the Keeler Show.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Well, good morning, and as long as we're looking at this forecast, where we may get some snow showers today, and it's a very wet whatever fell overnight, out there. As long as we're looking at it, take a look into next week, and there's a bit of a change coming.
Oh, okay. Wait, maybe I looked at this the wrong way. I thought I did see. You know what brought the smile to my face? Oh, wait a minute.
Now, this won't bring a smile to your face necessarily.
Yeah. All right, we got. You know what it was? It was. I glanced at Saturday and it said a high of 37, which is
the weekend is going to be a little bit on the warmer side, but starting on Monday, things begin to take a cooling off trend.
All right, we got Monday with a high of 32, chance of snow. Tuesday, chance of snow, high of 29. Wednesday, snow showers likely, high of 32.
That's not what I'm looking at. But
was it further in the week? Must be.
No, I must be looking at Anchorage.
That's funny.
So here's what I don't know why, but here's what mine said this morning. That this is the problem. It used to be you'd wait for your weather forecaster to tell you what's going to happen. Now today, it just everything pops up on your phone. Even the school closings. You usually know that your kid's school has been delayed or closed before anybody even announces it, right?
So I was going to say, it happened, I think, yesterday or Tuesday, where I was in the middle of reading the school closings and delays, and my phone started ringing, and it was the automated system from the Carter School District telling me that they were on a delay.
Yeah. Here's the this is what the National Weather Service is saying for Marcy, New York next week. Monday, 32, Tuesday, 26, 25 Wednesday, 21 Thursday, 15 Friday, and low 20s through the weekend. Just a bit of just when you're thinking things are going to, I don't know, Jeff. Maybe you restart the app. Maybe they don't update till 7. I don't know.
This one. This tells me for New York Mills next weekend we're 39 on Saturday. Well, that's a 25-degree difference.
No, I didn't give you Saturdays.
Well, what was 15?
I have.
So you said 15 to the weekend?
Next Friday. So 35 Saturday, 36 Sunday, 32 Monday, and then mid-20s through the week next week, up until Friday. And that's a little early. We're a week and a day away, right?
Yeah.
But the way this weather has been running, it seems like whatever comes through the Rockies and then through the Ohio Valley, we're getting.
Yeah.
Although we've been a little bit warmer. So now does that jet stream inch down just a little bit lower where we end up getting colder temperatures?
I hope not.
That's what it's calling for right now. That's all I'm going to say. It's Thursday, January 26th, the final Thursday in 2023 in January. Does that make sense? It is true.
Yeah.
I could really break it down if you'd like. Coming up, we'll talk to Tanya Powers. The FDA is meeting today to discuss what's going to happen with COVID shots. They're saying your COVID shot booster will decrease your chances. I think I read this way. Decrease your chances of getting COVID by 50%.
Okay. I don't know if I believe it anymore.
That is true. You can only cry wolf so many times, right?
Yeah.
And then things. So they're saying it's the latest whatever the booster shot is. So, I've had it. I'm like, put it into me. I'm sure the vodka will kill off anything I inject into my system anyway. Put it in. Let's see what happens.
So I feel like just because I'm coming off an illness now, I'm going to hold off a little bit, but I expect to get another vaccine
Yeah,
shot
I would,
in a couple
and I
months.
also would hold off to see what they're going to say. They may say that no need to get it now until the fall. I don't know. You don't. They're back and forth on this, and that's the annoying part, and that's why people like you don't trust anything anybody tells you anymore.
So, and with all due respect to Tanya J. Powers, can I have a confession, if I can use that term? I was struggling hard to get Jonathan Savage from Fox on the show today because his topic was the Pope. Did you see this yesterday?
No.
I'm just confused by it. I want to be clear. I'm not disagreeing with the Pope here. I completely support LGBTQ, same-sex, whatever, right? Again, you should love whoever you love. That you should be allowed to love whoever you love. I'm 100% in support of that. The Pope came out yesterday and said homosexuality is not a crime. Okay? Again, I agree with that. I don't object to him saying that. Here's where I'm confused. The Pope's domain, he doesn't deal in, he's not a district attorney. He's a Pope. So to say it's not a crime, now, first of all, in this country, it's not a crime. I know in some countries it is. But most countries, most in the developed world, homosexuality is not a crime, right?
In the developed world,
Right,
yes. Yeah.
Right.
Other countries, it'll get you killed.
So
But then you look at a country like Russia, and there are no homosexuals in Russia.
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Oh, boy. I remember, there was a 60 Minutes interview, and, the Shah of Iran or something was being interviewed. I think it was by Leslie
Stahl.
Yeah. And then he's like, well, what about gays? No, we don't have gays in this
Yeah,
country.
that's right. They're
Yeah. So, but here's where I was baffled by it. For him to come out and say it's not a crime, look, I think what Catholics want to know, is it a sin in your mind, okay? It's not a crime for me to lust after my neighbor's wife, okay? That's not a crime. My concern is it's a sin, right? So
well, at least if you're hearing it from the Pope,
right,
it should be whether or not it's a sin.
right. And I guess that's where I was going.
The problem is that if you read the Bible, and it sounds criminal when you read the Bible, but again, the Bible was written some 2,000 years ago.
Well, in the court of Jesus, I mean, I guess it's considered a mortal offense, but
well, at least then. But what I find, it's you would say, and Father Sean is one who will be having on. It's been a while, so it's time to get him in here. He would be able to talk about this just a little bit. But it is interesting how religion can take a different look at things. Despite what has been taught for all of these years, all of a sudden now we can say, well, this may have been, I don't think he's coming out and saying this was wrong necessarily. The church was wrong, but by today's standards, I guess, religion changes.
It certainly does.
Certainly has changed. I mean, when you read, forget homosexuality, but you can look in the Bible at slavery, where it said that one should honor his master, and then just women alone. The amazing. Well, yet there are countries today that still go by a more traditional religious standard, and women have very few rights. Iran is a great example of that. But that's a country that's going through its own upheaval with younger people saying enough is enough. Women should be able to have some rights. Women should be able to drive, show their face.
I mean,
right.
So as far as able to drive,
as far as we've come, and meanwhile, while he's taught, the Pope is like, all right, homosexuality is not a crime. In America, and really through the rest of the developed world, we're learning the difference between all the different forms of whether it be homosexuality or alternative sexual lifestyles.
The variations of love.
That is very confusing. Whether a person sees themselves as a male or a female, or I guess neither. It's confusing.
But
for the Pope to come in and I see where you're saying is that, talk about the sins, don't talk about legalities.
Yeah, and the other thing was, I thought a couple of years ago, maybe after he was first, I don't know the biblical or Catholicism term that they use, enshrined or whatever, right? Whenever he took over. I thought he came out and made this clear, that like he took a stance that the church had never taken before on same-sex relationships. And basically, if to my recollection, he said, look, it's okay. Okay? You're not going to hell for, loving somebody who was,
Well,
same-sex.
and I think there is also that that differential there where being homosexual and acting on homosexuality, the church looks at it that way, or always has.
Okay.
While it may not be a sin to be homosexual, to have homosexual activity, to have sex would be considered a sin.
Okay.
But again, I think we're way past the Pope on this issue, and we're way past religion on this issue, to be honest.
Yeah.
Gay marriage in the United States is legal.
So, and
could you imagine if we turned back the time and made it illegal? All of the people who are now married, what would they do?
So,
you can't do that.
A little peek behind the curtain. I was further foiled because when I reached out to book the reporter they had on it, there wasn't an availability on his schedule. Like I couldn't get him anywhere.
Yeah.
And I said, I forget her name. Whatever. It doesn't matter. I said to her, I go, it's just such a funny thing. Like when I grew up, there, everybody that I knew in every neighborhood I was in was Catholic. Everybody was Catholic, right? There was churches on every street corner almost, right? Now, you can't find a Catholic or a Catholic church. I shouldn't say you can't find a Catholic, but there's just fewer and fewer of them. Yet the number one booking issue through Fox this morning was this, what the Pope says about homosexuality. And I agree. We're like decades beyond that now. I mean, it's been, 15, 20 years? It's been legal, I think. Like same-sex marriage has been legalized. Wasn't it around 2005 or something?
Yeah, I forget when. I think it was during Obama. So, and remember, it wasn't that long ago that Obama was asked on his opinion. Obama was asked on his opinion of gay marriage, and he was, at the very least, he wasn't for it. And it wasn't until now President Joe Biden. It happened in the last 10 years. So it wasn't until now President Joe Biden came out on an interview and said, Obama's totally for gay marriage, which completely was, that's where it was just another vice presidential gaffe. He won't go anywhere.
A quick Google search. Massachusetts was the first state to do it in 2004.
But in New York, I believe it was in the last 10 years.
And then
probably 8 years ago, somewhere in that.
The Supreme Court struck down all bans on same-sex marriage in 2015.
Anyway, it is interesting, and I think I do think we're past, at least in this country, we're certainly past that, and we're arguing about should there be unisex bathrooms, or should a transgender person be able to go into a male or female bathroom? Which one should they go into? That's where we are today. And, by the way, DeSantis is right in the middle of it. I think he's really taken – I don't think he's not a shrewd politician. This guy is very sharp. And this issue of of taking back your school districts, of not teaching or indoctrinating students in the classroom, it's a big issue out there for Republicans. And DeSantis knows it, and he's championing that right now. It's very interesting just to watch what he's doing.
Quick comment came in here. I'm Catholic, and I go to St. Mary's in New York Mills, and I'm gay, but I don't go there for marriage.
Okay.
All right.
Richard says, I see Monday 40, Tuesday through Friday upper 20s. All I can tell you is I just read what I read. Where do you live? Said Richard. Well, it doesn't matter where I live. I'm in Marcy right now. My phone is connected to Marcy through their geo tracking, and the National Weather Service says 32 on Monday. I don't know.
So
Maybe
funny.
it won't be.
Mine.
Restart your phone, see what it says.
Yeah, mine says 38 Monday.
But you're looking at the Apple Weather app.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the National Weather Service.
Well, it amazes me that there's so many variations. Like
it's all about catching up, I think.
Catching up.
It's when they update. It's all about when they update. And they'll tell you those weather apps update immediately. I see Monday 40, Tuesday through Friday upper 20s, low 30s, and next Saturday low 40s. I'll take that in February anytime. All I said, people, let's not get overblown here. All I said is, are you noticing a little transition next week? It's going to get colder next week. I didn't make any predictions for March. Man. What else do I... there are a couple of crazy stories out there this morning that I thought worth at least talking about this morning. Number one, we have an asteroid that's supposedly about to get, in the next 48 hours, about to get very, very close to Earth. But it will miss us. Mm-hmm. And this apparently is a really large one. I don't know what it would necessarily do to us, but it's a biggie. How about the story of a group? This group, and I actually found the story in, of all places, Popular Mechanics. So this group says in the next 2 years, they're making a prediction that a catastrophic mutating event will strike the world in the next 2 years. These are scientists. The most striking finding that we found, they say, this is the World Economic Forum. This is at the World Economic Forum. During the presentation, said that 93% of cyber leaders and 86% of cyber business leaders believe that the geopolitical instability makes a catastrophic cyber event likely in the next 2 years. And it far exceeds anything that we've seen in previous surveys. I got to tell you that based on what we've seen, where, you see whether it be states or cities or countries where their grid might be shut down, and there's a cyber attack here that takes over a municipality or a school district. We're seeing it happen and seeing it happen more often. What they're saying is, with the speed of technology, expect within the next 2 years the potential for a cyber attack that is catastrophic, that would completely shut everything down, your banking, your grid, your street lights, your electricity, everything gets shut down. And what would humans do? Fun.
Well, hopefully we'll remember how to do simple things that we used to do before computers took over everything. Right?
It's a global threat.
Like monitor, do I need more milk?
Well,
I can do that on my own.
the problem is that how are you going to get the milk if there's no electricity keeping it cold? And, by the way, you run out of money because how are you going to get the money? It's not just the ATMs that are run off computers, but your banking system is run off computers. So that's what they're trying to scare us with. It calls for a global response and enhanced and coordinated action. If I were at this, I'd start booing and throwing things at these people.
Yeah.
You just ruined I'm on a convention. This is week long. We're out having a good time. We do these sessions. We party at night, and now you've ruined everything.
This is global climate change 3.0. Is that what this is?
This is a whole different thing than the climate change. Don't worry about climate change. That's not going to get us. It's the virus that keeps mutating in your computers that is the thing that's going to get us. So they say.
The solution is throw bottomless amounts of money at the problem, and it'll just not get fixed.
You will notice the key there is they said we must have a global response.
Yeah.
So what are you willing to invest so that we can save the world? Hygiene Shane attended New Brunswick High School for 4 days recently and was finally caught, charged with one count of providing a false government document. In this high school, turns out she was 29 years old. What would a 29-year-old want to go back to high school for?
I don't know.
The woman whom New Brunswick police identified as Haijong Shin of New Brunswick was charged with one count of providing a false government document. Police said she showed a false birth certificate with the intent to enroll as a juvenile high school student.
Is it possible that she legitimately wanted to
learn
a couple of things?
Yeah.
Or was there something where, like, in her teenage years, there was something that went wrong in high school, so she thinks she can correct it?
Or is it the thing, man, if I knew then what I know now, maybe I'll just go back and give it a try. Last week, by filing some false documents, an adult female posing as a student was able to be enrolled in our high school. The letter that was sent home to parents. Mm-hmm. That was on Twitter, I believe. You can only imagine the reaction from parents. All appropriate authorities were immediately notified. Yeah, if you're a superintendent of schools, how do you explain that one to parents? Well, we didn't check it out, and she looked young.
Yes.
She did look a little old for young, but she looked young.
Meanwhile, fathers all across that community are going, why couldn't this have happened when I was in high school?
I want to give you the worst story of the day. This is the worst story of the week. This is the worst story of the month. So far, this is the worst story of the year. This is a terrible story. I just want you to know it. I couldn't sleep last night after reading this story.
Really?
But I couldn't wait to tell about it. An airline worker in December died when they were sucked into the airplane engine.
Oh, my goodness.
Just imagine what happened. And there's descriptions in this story of what they felt like inside the plane when that happened. Apparently, they had just had a safety meeting that said as long the jets are going to be remaining on, the engines will remain on for a technical reason on this airplane, an American Airlines airplane. Do not get near the plane. Do not get near the plane engines. Everyone was told. The crew reported they had a safety briefing 10 minutes before the airplane arrived at the gate. They also held a second safety huddle just before the plane arrived, reiterating that the engines would remain running until ground power was connected. The crew discussed that the engine would not be approached and the safety cones could not be set out until the engine spooled down, which means it's after it's shut off, the engines will then, it's like a fan, and it will slow, but it takes time. That's such a huge engine. It takes some time, and they say you'll never know that it's actually done until you can actually see the blades of the fan, the blades of the engine. So still, a one ramp agent was told, stop, don't go any further. That person backed up. But this woman did not. Everything seemed to be going as planned when all of a sudden the woman got just close enough. She was told to get away. As she began walking away from the engine, it sucked her right in. Can you imagine?
That is so...
But it does tell you, like, if you, if you ever were in a position where you were near a plane like that,
yeah,
you might not want to get near not that you ever would be or should be in a position like that, but I guess I never, and they even call it, there's a 15-foot area around and in front of the airplane engine. Do you know what that is called? It's called the ingestion area.
Oh, my gosh.
For obvious reasons.
Yes. So, yeah, as you were telling this story, I was trying to do the math on how many feet away and how many pounds could you be. You know, like a big guy like me, I would imagine.
Somebody bigger, you might be a little, right. The lighter you are, the worse it is.
That is so awful. Could you imagine having to tell her wife or her husband?
I can't even think about
spouse, whatever, that's how the person passed, and you couldn't have a funeral, right? There's nothing left.
They,
that's like the people who witnessed that probably have to go through trauma treatment.
Counseling. The pilot described that they all of a sudden felt a rumbling on the plane, and then the engine shut down.
Oh, my goodness.
That's what they felt on the airplane. Trial going on in Syracuse. Apparently, there's a former Proud Boy who is testifying against other Proud Boys. Matthew Green is the Proud Boy who is testifying for the prosecution. The defense yesterday was grilling him, trying to put the blame on President Trump and not the Proud Boys. But he seemed to stand pretty firm that the belief was that this was the beginning of civil war, and the Proud Boys, the leadership of the Proud Boys, was going there to stop the transfer of the presidency to Joe Biden.
So I think certainly President Trump was culpable here, had some responsibility, and could have really turned down the heat on this.
He did say, I do think the president played a role, but I took my orders from leadership of the Proud Boys.
Oh, and he's saying that.
Yeah.
Oh, because I thought maybe that
he's testifying for the prosecution, and this is the defense of a group of, I believe, 5 Proud Boys,
Gotcha.
defending them, in which there's a good chance they'll spend 20 years in prison.
I thought maybe their technique was to say, when the Proud Boys are on trial, we blame Trump. If Trump gets in trouble, we say, no, it was all the Proud Boys.
That was the Proud Boys. Well,
right,
a
lot of this going on.
I do think there might be some truth to that.
Right.
And there's one more story I thought I'd throw at you, and then Joe has entered the studio. If you're watching on YouTube Live.
Good morning.
You saw him walk in. He snuck in, scared the living daylights out of us. A guy is spending $2 million. He has authorized his doctors up to $2 million. He's from California. He's employed 30 doctors and experts to monitor every element of his health. His name is Brian Johnson. He's 45 years old. He doesn't want to just feel 18 again. He wants to look and be 18 again.
Well, you can't do that.
He says you can. And he's making an extreme effort that is being chronicled by scientists. He has partnered with more than 30 health professionals, spent over $2 million, and he is trying to bring every element of his body back to 18 years of age, including his organs, his liver, his heart, his face.
You can't turn back time. Man.
Well, apparently, by today's medical and scientific standards, it's possible.
I think that's very encouraging for a lot of people who maybe, like I eat way too much fast food. But to know if I made a decision to get off the bad diet, right?
Yeah.
That I could restore organs to their previous state. I mean, that kind of gives hope, right? It's like it's never too late to turn your life around type of a thing. But this whole thing where you look 18 again, I mean, that's significant plastic surgery.
Your
right?
liver is one they say your liver will rejuvenate, right?
Yeah.
You stop drinking for 30 days. That's what dry January is supposed to be all about. Your liver regenerates, and you're going right back at it.
Well, even your lungs, though, they say when you quit smoking,
right, again,
after so many years, they clean themselves.
Do you have a cold?
Do I? No, I'm over it. I'm over it. This is the
I thought the
just
same
a
thing
little
when he
nasal.
walked in. Now, I'm not concerned.
You don't. I've been tested. Don't worry.
Listen, it's not that. You have to. I don't care about COVID.
it's
Manaski will let you know.
Listen,
about this.
it's been.
I went through this with Jeff a month ago.
Yeah.
I don't care if you have COVID. It's
not even a cold, though.
If you have anything, I don't want it. I've had it with getting sick. That's how I'm looking at it.
Well, you're far enough away.
I hope so.
I'll face towards
Aim
Jeff.
your mouth towards Manaski,
Right,
for God's sake.
That way. Out of here.
Yeah, aim it towards Davey. He's got a window between him.
He's got a glass wall in front of him.
Just nasally. Just a little.
Okay, all
but
right.
But it's not.
I feel better.
No, I'm much better.
Sit tight.
And it was really nothing to begin with.
We'll find out why you're here. But in a second, so stand by. Let me break, and we'll come back here. I've got to go put
he's got to go
disinfectant up
himself.
my nostrils and all that stuff. Stand by. 6:47 on Thursday morning in WIBX.
Get ready for war. CNY Wing Wars is back for its 6th year on Saturday, February 4th. Brought to you by the Joseph Michael Chubbuck Foundation. Come enjoy the spoils of the most delicious war in history at the Harts Hill Inn in Whitesboro. Participants include Ray Brothers Barbecue, Pizza Boys, Hot Off the Brick, Killabrew, Fratello's, Tony's of New Hartford, Utica Barbecue, Pizzeria Italia, Piggy Pats, Knuckleheads, Celtic Harp, and Lukens. Let your voices be heard by voting for your favorites in Best Wing and Most Unique categories. Featuring a panel of special guest judges, including yours truly, Will Phillips from WOUR. Admission is $30 and includes a slice of pizza, wing sampling, and 1 free beer or soda. Tickets are extremely limited and will sell out, so don't drag your feet. 100% of the proceeds will assist cancer patients in Oneida and surrounding counties. Grab your tickets now through thejmcf.org or by calling 315-339-5993. Don't miss the 6th annual CNY Wing Wars.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
WIBX 950 and 1069 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, we'll get to you in a second. We'll get to you. I swear to God, Joe walked in. I said I could tell he was nasally. I immediately got congested, just like that. You sit tight.
Oh man!
I know you're into plug something.
you're a hypochondriac.
I know that's why you're
I
here.
swear to God.
No, I just don't want to get sick again. I'm telling you.
I'm
so
sorry.
sick.
I have to go.
I
home.
am
I'm gonna
so
go back to
sick
bed.
of getting sick.
I'm sick.
Here's Tanya
Getting
J. Powers. She knows what I'm talking about. You go running. You go running when you see somebody sneeze.
Yes. Yeah. I'm not. Because the first thing it'll do is go straight for my voice.
That's exactly it. We make a living using our voice, and there's nothing more annoying. Can you hear me right now? I'm already nasally.
I think Tanya was kind of mocking you.
No, she's not.
She went,
No,
yeah,
no.
yeah.
No,
Wait a minute.
Oh, yeah.
You came to work and infected everybody else. Is that what I'm getting here?
No,
Or
no.
Am I just getting half of the story?
That was a month ago.
That's
and
not
that didn't
true.
and it didn't happen because I'm like, Jeff, stay home.
You know, we have a
not-
guest in studio
Yes.
who sounds a little nasally.
And that's all it takes, Tanya.
I'm trying
That's-
to be that way.
that's
I want
all
to change my
it
voice
takes.
back to like 18. Or
Here
something.
we are, and my favorite line of this whole thing, Tanya, is when someone comes in and you say, "Are you sick?" and they say, "It's not COVID." I don't care. It could be infantigo. I don't know.
Yes.
I don't want it.
I don't want the flu. I don't want the 24-hour bug. I don't want
That's
RSV.
correct. Yes, so stay over there. Good.
It's not like nothing ever made us sick before COVID. I mean,
That is
you know,
true.
there's.
But you're right. That's the
I'm
thing.
sorry,
It's-
I'm sorry to whoever doesn't feel well. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Oh, he
Oh, I
feels
feel
great.
great, Tanya.
Oh,
Thank
yes.
you.
He's a bowl of jelly this morning. Holy cow. All right. I don't even know what that means. All right. Tanya, good morning. And it just so happens we're talking about the FDA, and there's a meeting today, and they're going to make some determinations here, right?
Yes. What they're going to do is they just recently came out with this proposal to do a once-a-year COVID shot. It's like your annual flu shot, where they would have flat annual COVID booster. You get that, you move on with your lives. There's not like, a booster every few months or anything like that.
Right.
So this would do away with having to keep up with when you had your last shot or what kind or any of that. The meeting is set for today. They have their panel of outside vaccine experts that they've asked to weigh in at this meeting. I'll get to where you can watch that in just a second.
Okay.
Part of what they're going to ask them to do is vote on whether all the vaccines should target the same strain of the virus. That is what the step is that would be needed to make the shots interchangeable. So it wouldn't matter whose you got; they're all the same, right? Because I think most of us would be hard pressed to tell you who made the flu shot we had last.
Correct. Right. Yes.
And the reason that they're getting to this, which isn't a huge shock, I think a lot of people expected it to eventually go in this direction of just a COVID shot each year. The FDA released some documents online prior to, when they made this proposal prior to this meeting so people could look at them. And they said that most of us have sufficient pre-existing immunity against COVID because of either vaccination or we've had COVID or both. And that is the baseline of protection that we had to have in order to get to the annual booster phase of this. So that's the reason that they're changing, their strategy here. Is most of us have had, about 80% of the U.S. has had at least one dose of the vaccine. So, we've gotten to the point of like they said, an immunity status that is where we can move this direction. As far as the meeting goes, if you're ever wondering about what the FDA is doing with their meetings, this is not a closed door, they come out with a piece of paper and a decree kind of thing that nobody knows what happens. You can actually watch this online. I've done that. Anybody can do it. It is not special for journalists. If you go to fda.gov, scroll down, there's a link that says meetings. and it has the calendar listed, and it tells you exactly when they're having what, and it gives you, the link. Look on the one for today, January 26th, and I think there's only
That'd be
one
right there.
for today. And you will see meeting information. You'll see event materials. It gives you all the documents that they've already released, all the information they've already outlined what the meeting is going to be about. There's a YouTube link where you can watch it live streamed. If you go down to the very bottom, if you are a data person, you're going to love this site because there's a whole bunch of extra PDFs and things that you can look at that tell you the roster of who's going to be there, who they're with, if they're with Pfizer, if they're with Moderna or Novavax, the National Institutes of Health, or whoever. There's pages and pages of stuff to tell you who is expected to be at this meeting. So if you're into transparency, this is your site.
Well, now we got to get government itself to actually follow the same type of protocol, and we'll be. And really, it was COVID that kind of drove us to use the technology. This is a great example of that, right?
It is. I mean, and the FDA has been doing these the entire time for the. I mean, I never paid any attention to it before COVID and before they started doing the vaccine stuff. But every one of these vaccine meetings, this is how they've handled it. You can see, you can live stream, watch the thing in progress. It's not a big secret.
Well, let's hope one of the PDFs isn't a classified document from the National Archives.
That would be helpful. All right, Tanya, crazy stuff out there. We appreciate it. This would be good news. Also, to one of the questions that was brought up earlier this hour was, should I still get a booster this year, or should I now wait till the fall? And I'm assuming that's one of the questions they'll answer.
That's a good question. I'm not sure. And by the way, if you are interested in FDA stuff, you can actually submit questions ahead of time. The window has already closed for today because they have to have them, done a certain time in advance. But if there's ever something coming up from the FDA they're holding a meeting about, you can actually submit your own questions.
Wow, that's cool. Good stuff, Tanya. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
If I get sick, I'll let you know. She wants out of here.
She wants no part of it.
She wants no part of this. She wants to be gone. Good morning, Joe Lode. Good morning.
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
This looks like a heck of an event you got coming up here.
Wow, or at the very least, an amazing poster.
Yeah, really. Who designed that? Can they do some show promos for us?
I'm not sure who designed this, to be honest with you, and I'm sorry for that. But I will tell you, this is a pretty cool event. So we're going to give away today.
Okay, first of all, the event is...
Oh, it's the event. Yeah, let's just start with that. Boonville Snow Festival 2. So this is a oval track racing festival. So there's snowmobiles.
This is snowmobile racing.
Yeah.
Man, do you remember the old days when they used to do it up on Canada-Rego Lake?
Yes.
And they'd have car races on back in the 70s.
On the lake?
On the lake, because
Jeff,
it was so thick. Yeah.
Long before you. Winters were actually cold.
Winter, yeah.
We had winter.
There wasn't any global warming back then.
And they would hold car races on Canada-Rego Lake. It was the coolest thing.
Yeah, once in a while you'd have a problem.
Yeah, well, once in a while a car would fall in, but come on.
For the most part, it was
the driver knew how to swim.
Yeah,
he was fine.
That's right.
So, this isn't. This is on the fairgrounds in Boonville.
Okay.
And it's on their center oval in front of the grandstand. They have ice. They've been building ice for a few days now.
My guess is these people that are racing are part of a circuit.
Professionals from all over.
Okay.
Canada. Right. I mean, there's a lot of Canadian riders all over the country. Minnesota. They all come in. There'll be like 4,000 people coming in for this event.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Huge.
Pretty cool.
They have a vintage swap meet and show, and it starts Friday, actually. Friday is the opening ceremonies.
Tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, with the fireworks tomorrow night, and then Saturday and Sunday all day, and I'll be your announcer.
Are you a big snowmobiler?
I have a snowmobile, yeah.
You know, all right.
Yeah, you love it. You go up north, right?
This year I don't love it because I keep getting weather forecasts that talk about all kinds of snow, and I don't get it.
Well, he's got a bone to pick there.
It's been terrible. You know, they had those.
Let's just frighten everybody. Close the schools. Don't go shopping. Shut down retail stores because, we have a hunch.
3/4 of an inch of snow.
Right, 3/4 of an inch.
So, they had those big games. Is it the collegiate games, the World Collegiate Games, or whatever it was, in Lake Placid this past week?
Yeah.
And I saw some of the pictures up there. Interesting on that. Everything was covered with snow, but it's because the snow we got last weekend. Other than that, there was a lot of snow making, and it was Even in Lake Placid, it's been rough to get snow.
And again, this was 6 months old, but I just watched a documentary yesterday about what they're finding in the now dried areas of the Mississippi River. There's a major drought, and the Mississippi River's like drying up. And then they talk about in this documentary that look what they found when the Colorado River, parts of it dried up. And I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah. If they named the the Evel Knievel River, what was that? That he jumped. Remember that?
Didn't he jump Snake River?
Snake River.
Yeah.
If they named that, if we were back 200 years ago and it was like it is today, it'd be the Tiny Worm River.
Right.
They wouldn't be able to call it a snake. It's terrible. Everything's drying up out there. They can't even get water.
I don't know what's
Drinking
going on.
water.
Well, look at Arizona. You've seen pictures of Lake Mead, right? I mean, they're finding all kinds of things now. It's like a treasure hunt. You know,
that's interesting. So it dries
cars,
up and you
boats,
find
bodies, whatever.
Boat
Yeah.
Stop plugging for a second. For God's sakes, I got a break.
Okay.
And you can plug on the other side of the news, which is next here on Thursday morning. WIBX Utica Rome. It is 7 o'clock.
They shot down most of them. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. That's what a Ukraine general says about Russia's barrage of missiles launched today, along with self-exploding drones. That air defense down 47 of the 55 fired. The ones that got through did some damage to infrastructure, and one person was killed in Kyiv, 2 injured. This after the U.S. and Germany and our allies announced nearly 100 tanks will be sent to Ukraine to help fight Russia.
This was really about 2 things. One, being able to maintain unity in the alliance and partners and the partners that we have in providing support to Ukraine, and making sure, number 2, that we are getting ahead of the fight.
National Security Council spokesman John Kirby. This is one of the deadliest days in years in the West Bank. Israeli forces went on a raid, killing at least 9 Palestinians.
The incident happened at the Jenin refugee camp, a stronghold for Palestinian militants. Israel says the raids are designed to dismantle militant networks and prevent future attacks on its people.
Fox's Jonathan Savage. Another call for stricter gun laws, this time from Vice President Harris, who went to Monterey Park, California, where 11 people were murdered in a dance hall Saturday. L.A. County Sheriff Robert Luna says investigators have yet to find a motive. Why the 72-year-old killed them and then himself.
They have not been able to establish a connection between the suspect and any of the victims thus far.
A judge in California has ruled that police footage of the attack on then House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul, can be made public.
There's plenty of footage associated with the October hammer attack on Paul Pelosi. News agencies asked for copies of it, but the San Francisco DA's office refused, saying people could manipulate it to spread false information. Fox, the New York Times, and others argued prosecutors could debunk false information by releasing the footage.
That's Fox's Jill Nato. America's listening to Fox News.
My friend had his home stolen. The crime is home title theft. It's real. It's horrendous, but it's real, and it's everywhere. Now, luckily, this was just a demo, but I saw how criminals all around the world target American homeowners, and that's why I protect my home with Home Title Lock, and you need to as well. And a thief can simply forge your signature on a legal document claiming you sold your home to them. Homeowners insurance and common identity theft programs do not protect you, but Home Title Lock does. So protect yourself. Just go to their website. It's HometitleLock.com/Sean, S-E-A-N. Verify your home's title is still safely in your name. Then just register your address for a free, no-obligation home title report for your files. That is a $100 value, absolutely free. That's HometitleLock.com/Sean, HometitleLock.com/Sean, S-E-A-N.
We have mostly cloudy skies, 34 degrees. WIBX News Time is 7:03. This news update is brought to you by Baird Private Wealth Management, a strong financial partner for 100 years. Visit bairdoffices.com/Utica. A downstate New Yorker sentenced to more than 3 years in federal prison for a 2019 Utica bank robbery. William Maybank, a 56-year-old man from New York City, had previously pleaded guilty to holding up the Key Bank branch on Mohawk Street in August of 2019. He received a sentence of 39 months behind bars. He admitted to stealing approximately $6,700, saying he pointed what appeared to be a revolver at bank employees and customers. His sentence included an order to pay full restitution for the money that he took. Utica police making an arrest in connection with a shooting earlier this month on Stark Street. The victim suffered non-life-threatening injuries after being shot in the abdomen. Police arresting 48-year-old Fred Bowman of Utica. He faces charges of attempted assault and criminal possession of a weapon. Runners who want to take part in the 46th running of the Boilermaker have a chance to sign up soon. Event organizers say open registration begins February 1st for the 15K and the 5K. The race is scheduled for July 9th. The 15K will be capped at 8,500 competitors and the 5K capped at 3,500. Registration can be simply done online at Boilermaker.com. Rensselaer's county executive breathing a sigh of relief this morning after being acquitted on all charges, criminal charges that were filed against him. A jury found the 59-year-old Republican not guilty yesterday of stealing funds from his campaign and filing false documents with the State Board of Elections. The verdict was reached roughly an hour after deliberations began. Had he been convicted, McLaughlin faced the possibility of spending several years behind bars. A hearing scheduled for next month to help determine if Nauman Hussein will be going on trial. Hussein was the driver of the limousine that was involved in a deadly Schoharie crash back in October of 2018 that killed 20 people. He originally agreed to a plea deal that would have kept him out of jail, but a judge rejected the deal and set a trial date for May. Hussein has filed a lawsuit asking the state appellate division to reinstate his plea deal. And Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer calling on Democrats and Republicans to work together to prevent a possible debt ceiling crisis. Schumer saying that if the government does default, it'll have a devastating impact on upstate New York. A default would risk benefits for over 1.8 million upstate residents on Social Security, along with Medicare payments, which could be interrupted, threatening the ability of those who receive and or pay for health care. Your WIBX Weather Center forecast calling for mostly cloudy skies to remain through the day, a chance of some rain and snow showers today. Rain possible this morning, becoming all snow after 10 a.m., a high of 36 today. Tonight, chance of snow showers, otherwise cloudy with a low of 23. Slight chance of snow showers to start the day on Friday. Then a slight chance of snow in the afternoon as well with a high of 31. Saturday, slight chance of snow and a high of 37. Bill, right now, mostly cloudy skies, 34 degrees. WIBX News Time is 7:06.
All right, from the IBEW Local 43 Sports Desk. Last night, the Adirondack Bank Center, the Utica Comets were playing at home. That's after playing that shortened game the other night, which was really cool, and they won 5-1. Last night, not so fortunate. The Charlotte Checkers defeated the Comets 4-0 last night at Adirondack Bank Center. Chiefs star quarterback Mahomes is leaving little doubt. He says he is okay, A-okay, and is ready to play. I can't stand him.
Why?
I just don't like him.
Mahomes?
Yeah, I don't like him.
Oh.
Key member of the Eagles offense is shedding light on his sideline frustration during the team's divisional round playoff win over the Giants in Philadelphia. You hear this stuff. We're dealing with the same thing with Stephon Diggs. Give me the ball. A.J. Brown spoke to the media on Wednesday and said, they've thrown the ball to me 100 times. I'm going to want it 101 times. The star receiver went on to say, getting the ball often keeps you going. It puts you in a zone. Of course, I want the ball.
Winners want the ball, Bill.
I believe so. Let's see. The Trailblazers beat the Jazz. Final score 134-124. The 76ers extend their win streak to 6. They beat the Nets 137-133. Go to the NHL. The Islanders end up losing 2-1, losing to the Senators. And in Toronto, the Maple Leafs down to the Rangers in overtime 3-2. The Devils will visit the Predators tonight. And that's what I have. Syracuse plays Saturday in college basketball. Big game. It's Georgia Tech, right? It's Villanova.
No,
it's
Virginia
St. John's.
Tech.
Oh, Virginia Tech. That's Saturday.
They already played Georgia Tech last
You're right.
Saturday.
You're right. They didn't win that game.
Yes, they did.
Yeah, that's right.
They were down a little bit, and then they came back.
All right. They won by 30, right? It was 30-point win?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good.
TV.
That's not true either. Okay, Joe Load is in plugging an event happening in Boonville involving snow.
That's
something
right.
we have not dealt a lot with so far this winter.
Well, you haven't been able to ride a lot, obviously, because there's no snow. But there's enough up there now that they have opened the trails, and people that really are, hungry to ride will. I will not until we get more snow because I just can't see it.
Is it dangerous? It's got to be a little
Sure,
dangerous.
Bill. I mean,
it's not good on your
there's
snowmobile
rocks,
either.
there's rocks, there's tree
Tree
stumps.
stumps, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then your carbides take a beating, and if you have studs in your track, you could lose them. But the place that the snowmobiles will be running is at the fairgrounds in Boonville Saturday and Sunday for the big race. It's an oval track on ice. And these snowmobiles are engineered so they're lower to the ground,
right.
and they're race sleds, I
So
can only imagine.
being an oval track,
It's not like a snowcross where there's a lot of suspension involved. These guys
Okay.
are right slammed
right.
down to the ice, and they're trying to stick to the ice.
All right, we're going to give away. What do you want to do?
We have weekend passes we'd like to give away.
Okay.
And that's like a $50 value for both days. Plus, don't forget tomorrow, Friday, being the opening ceremony, and they have fireworks there. And there is a couple raffles going on there. Matt Naimi Buick GMC is giving away a 70-inch TV.
Nice.
All 100% of the proceeds are going to a place in Boonville called Matthews Place.
Okay.
And it's a food pantry and thrift shop that's been in service for 32 years in the community, and it's all volunteer run. And they give free clothing and food for like people that have fires or in need, obviously. And you can buy stuff there, and that helps keep them going. And they buy food and they give out food. They have a really nice food pantry there. I saw some crab meat in there, and they have crab meat in the can. I saw
that's big
That was
right
good.
there. Yeah. Okay. I mean,
so it's a great thing. I've been finding a lot of places, in the Boonville community since I've been up there, in sales. And it's amazing to me that you just don't think about it. But it reminds me, Bill, a lot of home, like the Valley.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same good people, community, close-knit, helping each other. This place, 32 years they've been there helping people, which is great. A lot of good places.
All right,
You got to get to that Broadway bakery. I'm just going to tell you.
Joe comes in. Other people come in with a piece of paper to plug stuff. Joe brings in a suitcase. If I wanted him to go, I could say to Joe, listen, I'm a little short. Can you...
Oh, I got you covered.
Yeah, Joe would be like, I can cover an hour. I got an hour's worth of plugs.
Can I just tell you, I just love the technique there that you use, because Joe went through this whole thing, told you about the snowmobile races. Then he told you about who benefits, Matthews Place. He tells you all they've done, why he loves it. And then what did you say right at the end there?
What about the Broadway bakery?
So then what do? You go, well, what's Broadway Bakery?
Bill,
he just goes right to the next
notice
one.
I didn't bite, though.
Yeah, he did it. But they do have a breakfast buffet on
and he
Saturday.
He does it in a way as if he's been telling us about the Broadway Bakery for years. And we keep ignoring him. It's the first time I've ever heard of the business.
Same here, but it sounds cool. And you said they got a buffet, right?
I've talked about it before. It's this little boy. He started when he was 14 making bread. And then he was selling the bread at like the farmer's market. And his bread was so good that his mother and his father helped him build this bakery.
Wait a minute. Is this
and
a fable?
He's like right now I think he's I forget how old he is now. 15, I think.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, Jonathan. And his mother, they baked bread, and they were selling at the farmer's market. Everybody liked it, so now he opened up his own little bakery.
Oh, it's a little kid's bakery.
Yeah, it's his, basically. He's
Teenager.
homeschooled, and he does this, and he's got a business.
Yeah.
And the way the story goes, he showed up at a snowmobile race with one loaf of bread, and they had leftovers after he fed everybody.
We fed everybody.
And a few minutes later, he turned the water into wine. It was incredible.
The story of sleds and loaves.
Miracles happen in Boonville.
But this is awesome.
Yeah.
That is a really cool story.
Yeah, I mean, it's really good.
I mean, the true parts of it.
Okay, are we done? You'll be back tomorrow.
I'll be back tomorrow. I'll have more.
Come less sick tomorrow, all right?
Okay.
All right.
God.
Or sanitize before you get in here.
That's right. Okay, Joe, thank you.
Thank you. You guys have a wonderful day.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
And I hope when I drive back up to Boonville, there's more snow than here.
Well, I'm sure there will be. This is a very wet snow this morning, right? I mean,
very wet.
Very heavy and wet.
So I have to say, I feel like going back about 7 to 10 days ago, I heard from a teacher who said, boy, if this no snow day thing continues, we're going to get Fridays off in May. And then a week later, it's like, we're going to be extending school into July if this keeps up because the kids are either getting out early or no school every day, and we don't get anything.
First of all, they don't lose any snow days when they get out early.
No, but
they don't lose a snow day.
State aid as long as they get there and till like.
But there's been a problem this week with the closures yesterday because of the Regents exams.
Yeah.
There were Regents scheduled for yesterday, so that poses a real problem. So I believe the schools that did have early dismissal yesterday will do their Regents exams on Friday. So it's been a tricky, and I almost wonder if part of the reason why they dismissed early is because if it really did get bad, they wouldn't be able to close school in the middle of the exams. So I think the exams played a little bit. I don't know for sure.
Yeah, but that's
I was just surmising.
for some schools, not all schools that are they all doing Regents right now?
Regents, everybody's.
Oh,
right.
everybody.
Yeah, they do it.
I thought they gave up on that a long time ago.
You and I were non-Regents, Joe. We didn't know.
We were. I was.
Yeah, we didn't know.
I forgot something I didn't pass.
I remember when I went to my guidance counselor, I was non-Regents, and I was going into my senior year, and I'm thinking about college and stuff, and I guess maybe it was my junior year, and I said I'm going to take all Regents classes. I want to graduate with a Regents diploma. And he said, I don't think that's a good idea. It's like, listen, trust me. And I said to him, I haven't tried since I've been here, okay? And that dates back to when I was in kindergarten. Just let me do this. And I did it, and it all worked out. I got a Regents diploma.
You did get a Regents?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't. I failed chemistry.
I don't know how
I didn't even take chemistry, so I don't know what you're talking about.
How did you do it then?
I don't know. Having a Regents diploma today is much different than back then, I guess.
Well, you're not that much older than me.
That is true. 6 years. Okay, Joe, thank you.
All right. Well, you have a great day, everyone.
Wonderful day.
Good to see you as always.
Right. Did you see the news on that teacher that got shot in Virginia?
Yeah, they fired the principal?
Well, I guess that came later in the day yesterday, right?
Okay.
And they should have. I think it was the superintendent or the principal. They're all in trouble. Do you know this kid was going around telling people, I have a gun in my backpack and I'm going to shoot someone. And in fact, 30 minutes before the kid shot his teacher, she texted her husband, I believe it was, and said, I don't know, they're not doing anything. They won't let them search this kid's backpack. The administration would not allow for the kid to have his backpack searched. And I said to my wife, if that happened in a school here, what would happen? And her answer was they would immediately search the backpack.
Yeah,
there's no question about it. They didn't. And ultimately, the kid pulled the gun out and shot his teacher. He'd been bragging about doing it all day long.
Where did the kid get the gun from?
I believe he took it from his parents. So there probably are potential charges there. I mean, in this case, she didn't die, but, traumatic experience. And now she's suing the school district, and I don't blame her.
Seriously.
And others there will probably sue the district as well, because there were others who were complaining, saying, we've got to do something. You've got to search this kid. And the administration would not allow it to happen. Crazy. Yeah. Common sense. Boy, it seems to be missing today. Hold on tight. We'll talk to Mr. Common Sense himself, Luke Perry from Utica University, coming right up at WIBX.
Are your brakes noisy? Do they vibrate? Is the brake pedal soft? Is your ABS light on? Don't take chances with your brakes. In the Utica area, locally owned Oriskany Garage is going to be your best choice. Quality parts installed by trained and experienced technicians. No tricky upsells, just the work that your car needs done right. All backed by a great no-hassle warranty. Oriskany Garage on Champlain Avenue near Utica College or online at ogtire.com.
Mohawk Valley FCU wants to help you save money right now. They're extending their swap and drop auto loan promotion through the end of January 2023. Bring your car loan to Mohawk Valley FCU and they'll drop your rate up to 2% off your current rate for the remainder of the loan. That's up to 2% off your auto loan with locations on River Road in Marcy, in the state office building in Utica, and with mobile banking, you will receive the best service no matter where you are. Member focused, member driven. Visit MohawkValleyFCU.org.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
Hey, I got to say, Michael this morning brings up a really good point. He said, I think the snowmobile races would be incredibly interesting if they had hidden rocks and tree stumps all around the oval track. That would be something, wouldn't it?
We're here in front of a sellout crowd.
Oh, boy, that must have hurt. And I don't want to joke about that, right? Because that's the reason Joe doesn't want to do that, go on the snowmobile trails right now, is because there's not a lot of snow, and that becomes extremely dangerous.
Yes, it does.
The rocks and trees and all that stuff, very dangerous for snowmobilers out there. Luke Perry is a professor at Utica University. He is on the line right now. Luke, good morning.
Good morning.
So we wanted to talk to you this morning about, by the way, would you agree you are pretty good with common sense?
That's very kind of you. I don't know if my family would agree with me, but I'll take the compliment.
I believe, based on our conversations with you, I think you look at things from a common sense perspective, and as well as historic and legal and all of that, constitutional. So we appreciate your time here. The new Congress underway, and I'm not sure what we're going to get done. I'd like your take. And then the classified document scandal. Apparently, the National Archives is debating right now on whether or not to reach out to Clinton, Obama, and Bush to say, hey, maybe look around your place and see if you can find any documents. What are your thoughts?
Well, we've already had news organizations do that. USA Today, for instance, reached out to these former presidents, and on the record, they commented, I know Obama's administration representative did, that they turned over all their documents already, and I believe a spokesperson for Bill Clinton did too. I'm not sure about George W. Bush. But we've already seen news organizations do that, and it remains to be seen if the National Archives will as well, because I think what we stumbled upon here is that there's a pattern of behavior with multiple high-level government officials of not being fully compliant with federal law when it comes to classified documents, and that's a big problem.
It is a big problem. You would think they're classified for a reason, Manaski.
I was just going to say they reached out to Al Gore, and he said, what does it matter? The world's going to end Saturday. I need more money to save the planet. I think that was his official statement on it. Yeah. But let me ask you about the idea that I was hearing, why can't I think of his name, Trump's vice president? Pence. That Pence's had markings, so there was some thought about maybe they had been declassified at the time or since he left. Where are we? What is your understanding of this really debacle as it continues to unfold?
Well, I think what we've learned so far, and then there's an evolving story in regards to Biden and Pence, is that in starting with Biden's situation, he was clearing, his staff was clearing out an office several months ago and came across documents that were marked classified, and then they notified the Department of Justice and fully cooperated. And long story short, through the efforts of the government and searches that Biden authorized of other properties, they found additional documents. So somewhere around 25 classified documents were in Biden's possession in places that they weren't supposed to be. And I think this, to your question, prompted Mike Pence to have one of his legal representatives do an exhaustive search of his property just to make sure that something similar hadn't happened, and it did. So at this point, it seems there are about 12 documents or so. Again, it's not entirely clear. That's an estimate that turned up in the search of Pence's property, classified documents that, again, he wasn't supposed to have. And Pence, like Biden, has been fully cooperative with the Department of Justice and the FBI as they investigate and secure these materials. So in terms of some of these documents being declassified, in short, it's a two-step process. Authorized personnel can declassify documents, but that has to be communicated through formal channels throughout the government, the relevant entities that need to know. So much of the conjecture and frankly, on Donald Trump's behalf, strategic misinformation about claiming to declassify documents that most likely has not happened and gone through the proper channels so that those documents are technically declassified. I'm not suggesting Pence did any of that. I actually think he deserves credit for proactively making sure he didn't have anything in his possession he shouldn't.
This is who gets to declassify and a document has become a point of contention. So I believe it was Whoopi Goldberg on The View the other day said, yeah, okay, so you see, the vice president can declassify a document, but you have to follow a certain process in order to do it. So everybody jumped on that. In fact, I did hear it on our station yesterday. Everybody jumped on that, saying that is absolutely not true. Turns out it is true. The vice president has the authority to declassify a document. I don't want to say Whoopi Goldberg was right, but I believe Whoopi Goldberg was right. What do you know about that?
I know there's about 600 to 800 officials who can classify documents to different degrees. So there are 3 different classifications. There's confidential, which says that if there's unauthorized disclosure, it could damage national security. Then second, there is secret classification, which means the unauthorized disclosure could reasonably expect to cause national security damage. And then there's top secret classification that could cause grave national security damage. So you have hundreds of personnel through 16 different agencies that make these determinations. And so it isn't just one person.
And this is what is the problem with this story. It's the problem with the story about President Trump, about President Biden, and Pence has kind of entered the argument. The problem is that we're just generalizing it in the media. Imagine if a rogue president decided, I'm going to declassify the nuclear codes. Clearly, that would not be allowed to be done. So there is a process by which this is followed in order to be done. And I do know that President Trump has talked about how he could just think about it and it would be declassified. That's not true. I'm assuming the same thing would be true because I believe it was under Obama where the law was changed, where a vice president is on that list of people who could declassify. But again, I think you're right. We're just overgeneralizing this. It's declassify what? And a lot depends on what that document is. And we don't know. Yes, there are classified documents. We don't know the importance of the documents that Trump had, that Biden had, or that Pence had at this point.
No, and for me, it's kind of a two-step process of evaluation. If we back up, the one step is the classification, and nobody should have in their private residences classified documents that could damage national security. That includes Democratic presidents, Republican presidents. That's bad, and that shouldn't happen because it's dangerous for people who are serving this country. The step before that also doesn't get as much attention is that presidents and to a lesser degree vice presidents through federal law shouldn't even have these documents, any documents related to a presidential administration, because they're public property. They're not their property. Any records that were part of their official duty because of the Presidential Records Act of 1978, which came out from Watergate, because as we all know, Richard Nixon destroyed certain records and so on. So Congress acted and said, hey, all this stuff should be public property. I think where the issue arises is the enforcement of that law is difficult. All the records of the presidential administration remain in their custody until their day that administration's over. And then they're supposed to turn everything over to the National Archives. And the National Archives doesn't get a checklist of thousands or millions of documents, and they're kind of having to sort out, well, do we have everything we should have? And what happened recently that made all this stuff come to light is that Donald Trump had some things that were prolific, like a letter from Kim Jong-un of North Korea that didn't make it to the National Archives, and then it led to this much larger process and a discovery that we have a significant issue here in terms of not only national security and classified material, but also that this is public property that needs to be retained by government, and isn't these individuals who get to take them home and keep them in their private residences.
So I do think that this does certainly shed a light on the fact that we have a classified documents problem in the United States.
Yeah, and I think, I'm trying to make sense of, how do you solve the problem, right? And it's big and it's complicated, so that's not easy. I am understanding in the sense that there's more documents recently than ever before because of digital technology, and I am also sensitive to the fact that the presidents and vice presidents are more mobile. Right, they're traveling much more than 10, 50, 100 years ago, and they travel in bubbles, right? Their work continues. These people work very long hours. So I am sensitive to that. Some people say we classify too much stuff. I'm not persuaded by that. I want to make sure that our national security officials and armed service personnel are as safe as possible. So I don't think classifying less stuff is the answer. I think it's having a better communication between administrations and the National Archives in real time before their administrations end might be a potential solution, and probably more realistically, have an independent audit at the end of each administration to make sure moving forward that this type of thing doesn't happen. Those are the preliminary suggestions I have at this point.
Yeah, I think that last one's really a great idea, and I'm surprised it hasn't been done yet.
Speaking to Luke Perry, a professor at Utica College. Oops, sorry about that.
Can I ask you, I'm wondering, because I see Fox reporting this, I don't see a ton of other outlets reporting this, but it's the whole link between Biden and foreign governments and Hunter Biden, and the fact that he also lived at the property and may have had access to these documents. I guess this was the term that was used earlier this week. There's no there there. Is there a there there? Could this be a major story, or is this one side of the political aisle saying, look, our guy's not that bad, look what you did?
That's hard for me to say. I'm not in a position to speak about the extent to which Hunter Biden was in these places where these classified documents were found. So I really can't comment on that because I just don't have enough information.
Can I do want to close this out with this. So depending on who you're listening to, there's a lot of political rhetoric out there about this right now. See the double standard, the fact that, or if you watch another network, they're saying that, this is very different. What happened with Trump is very different than Biden. Biden didn't do anything wrong. Trump did. Depends on which network you're watching. But ultimately, there will come a time where we sift through the truth and a report comes out and we'll know what actually happened. And I would like your opinion on if it is determined. And I see Merrick Garland. I know, let's take the politics out of it. The guy seems to be somebody who at one point was favored by both Republicans and Democrats. If the decision was made to raid a former president's house and it wasn't warranted, or there is that double standard, I think that would be a pretty important, I think it'd be a scandal at this point. And then furthermore, answer that part first, if you could.
Well, I think there's no doubt it was warranted. I mean, former President Trump had 11,000 documents and 50 boxes that he legally wasn't able to have, and that included an estimated 200 to 300 classified documents. So whether or not there was willful intent, that's the legal standard, to violate several related laws, certainly the government and all of us had a vital interest in getting those documents back, and Donald Trump wasn't fully cooperative. So I think it was certainly warranted. Whether or not Trump gets prosecuted for the related behavior,
I think that's a completely different. I would doubt that would end up happening. Just my personal opinion. But if you listen to what's coming out of Mar-a-Lago and what you're hearing on talk radio today, that he was completely cooperating, and out of nowhere they raided his house. That's what you hear every day on the radio.
Well, I think we've seen from Donald Trump, one of his political tactics is strategic misinformation. So I think that explains what you're hearing from certain media organizations that align themselves with him. And I also think beyond that, you look at his business experience and record as well. I mean, he's one to legally fight just about anything. And I think that also is part of the pattern of behavior that we're seeing here. And he's certainly entitled to launch whatever legal fights he wants. I'm not necessarily questioning that, but I think that's also an explanatory variable here.
And then the final thing I would like your take on is the fact that it does seem clear that this was kept from the public. The Biden issue, the documents it was kept from the public. Not only they were found before the midterms, just before the midterms. That was kept from the public at that point. But then it almost seems conveniently that the public didn't find out until after the Georgia runoff election occurred. So how problematic is that, if that's the case?
I think the Biden administration and President Biden deserves criticism for that, for sure. I mean, I can understand why you wouldn't want to disclose something that fellow Democratic senators have now called embarrassing.
Yeah.
But I think the public has a right to know. And if, particularly with everything else going on with Donald Trump, the most ethical and prudent thing to do in terms of public administration would be for President Biden much earlier, to have stepped forth and said, here's what happened. It was wrong. We made a mistake. We are fully cooperating, which they have, with law enforcement. We will continue to do that and make sure there are as quickly as possible, make sure there are no more documents, and we'll be completely transparent about that. And they didn't do that, and that was the failure of this administration.
I got to tell you, I know hindsight is 20/20, but I think we could both agree that you and I could get a pizza and some beer some night and come up with a better strategy than the way this was handled by the Biden administration. And just definitely not the way to handle something. I won't make you answer that, but if you're interested in beer and pizza, let me know. Luke Perry, always. Luke Perry, Utica University, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right, thanks. Right, I mean, just the way they've handled this thing has just been botched.
It really, it's embarrassing for both sides of the aisle. It is
because I mean, on the Biden thing, in the way it's been handled, you think of it's like one of those movies where you're like, don't go that way. You're running towards the killer. It's like it seems so obvious and so easy to come up with a way to get out of this by saying, here's what happened. We're going to let somebody come in and the FBI, whatever, they're going to come in. They're going to search everything. We're going to be completely transparent. And we just want to be upfront with the American people. Boom. It's done. And you have now handled things much differently than former President Trump handled it. Biden did not do that.
So I feel like what you were saying, where it's like you're in a movie and you're like, no, don't go that way. Do you ever see that parody commercial?
I love those.
Yeah, it's like, let's hide behind the chainsaws.
Yeah, that's Biden right now. Let's hide behind the chainsaws. Mike Curley, Sergeant Mike Curley with UPD. Each week we do our Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers Wanted Person of the Week. And Mike Curley, good morning.
Good morning, guys.
All right, what are we looking at? Who are we looking for this week? It's not only Utica, but New Hartford looking for this person as well.
Yeah, that's right. So this week's Utica and New Hartford Wanted Person of the Week is going to be a 43-year-old male named Jose Figueroa. He's wanted for 2 outstanding criminal contempt warrants for violating orders of protection. Both warrants come out in November 2002. Utica's was in May 2002, and New Hartford's was in November of 2002.
What is it in regards to?
So both are going to be domestic-related incidents in which the protected party had an order of protection that this individual violated.
I'd like to know what your thought is on orders of protection. I feel like that's such a it's a misleading title. I don't know how much it actually protects a victim, but it does give police the opportunity to increase charges. It gives the DEA's office, it puts some teeth into the laws. Am I correct with that? And what's your thought?
It certainly does. So anytime a lot of times in domestic incidents, the victim is very afraid, or, there's some other circumstances which require them to not want to press charges. But once the judge issues an order of protection, it's no longer incumbent upon that protected party to wish to protect charges. It's now the court and the police that have the duty to, once that order is violated, to enforce that order. So it kind of takes the responsibility away from that victim in which they have to make that decision, and puts the power in our hands, for lack of a better word, to enforce that order. So thankfully that order protects the party and allows us to enforce it once it's violated.
So it's a 43-year-old male, the photo, And story is up on our website right now at WIBX950.com. Also, there inside the story gives you all the details on how you can make an anonymous tip to Mohawk Valley Crime Stoppers. 866-730-8477 is the number, but there's an app you can use. Talk about Crime Stoppers and how the anonymity plays a big role in this.
Crime Stoppers has been extremely integral, especially with the Utica Police Department, some of our more major cases, but certainly with the wanted person of the week. You know, like you said, it provides that layer of anonymity that allows a person to go through either the 800 number or primarily the app, allows us to interact with that party and potentially receive a reward for any information leading to the arrest of any party we're seeking.
Rob is asking, did we misspeak and say the warrants from 2002? It was 2020. I believe. Is that right?
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
Good,
Okay,
good call.
cool.
Sorry about that.
All right, sounds good, Sergeant. A former cop out there, just
attention to detail.
Helping you out, paying attention to details. Okay, Sergeant, thanks so much. We appreciate it. Sergeant
Thank you.
Mike Curley with UPD. And again, that story's up on our website at WIBX950.com. Let's do our free money question of the day, Davey. Chance for you to win $100 in cash. And this morning, we're going with caller number
5.
Caller 5. Fifth caller through the phone lines. Chance at $100 right now from Hobica and WIBX.
Discover the difference that comes from a financial partner committed to building better tomorrows. I'm Jim McGuire with Baird Private Wealth Management in Utica. As a provider of trusted financial services in Utica, Baird is committed to making the future brighter for you and for our community. That's why we support local organizations like the Women's Fund of Herkimer and Oneida counties and the Capitol Theater in Rome, because we care about Utica. Discover the Baird difference. Visit BairdUtica.com.
After 32 years as a Mason, Steve retired right before the holidays, but that career took a toll on his body and he never slept well. He said he was going to get a new bed, but he and his wife, Angela, never made it in before the holidays. They came into Mattress Express in New Hartford on Commercial Drive next to Red Lobster and selected a Q9 King number bed, flex head. Steve liked his side firm. He was a 40. We elevated his head and feet and put the massage on high. He said he hadn't felt that comfort in years. Angela, who'd been sleeping in a separate bed because Bill couldn't sleep through the night, liked it softer. We set hers on 32, elevated her head a little less, her feet a little higher, and put the massage on low. They said it was perfect. They were thrilled to find out we held over our promotion of $1,000 prepaid Visa card or a 75-inch flat screen TV. Steve got the TV. It was affordable because they qualified and signed up for the 5 years, no interest, no money down. Make that trip today or call 1-800-NEW-BED.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest-rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
If your credit card bills have gotten out of hand, call Consolidated Credit now. If you're making the minimum payments, but your balance is just not going down, call Consolidated Credit now. If the interest rates on your credit cards are so high, it will take years to get out of debt, call Consolidated Credit now. They've helped over 5 million people. They can consolidate your debts into one lower payment, reduce your interest rates, and get you out of debt fast. If you're struggling with credit card debt, call Consolidated Credit now.
Call now, 800-552-6750. That's 800-552-6750. 800-552-6750.
Consolidated Credit Counseling Services Incorporated, 5701 West Sunrise Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33313. Not a loan company licensed by the New York Department of Financial Services and by the Vermont Department of Financial Regulation. Maryland DM 19, Oregon DM 80031. Licensed by Virginia State Corporation. Commission license number DC 32. Establishment of a plan may adversely affect the individual's credit rating or credit scores. Non-payment of debt may lead creditors to increase financial charges or collections activity, including litigation.
Blending bluegrass and jam band music, Chicken Wire Empire brings a contemporary spin to its Midwest stylings. Hear what Jamgrass is all about when the band performs for the Concerts in the Court series at 7:30 p.m. on Saturday, February 4th at Munson Williams in downtown Utica. Enjoy live music from an international touring band in the intimate setting of the museum's Root Sculpture Court.
For info on tickets, visit mwpai.org. Sponsored by Elizabeth Lemieux, PhD, and PJ Green, Inc.
Worried about how the effects of high gas prices and inflation in 2022 and a poor economy outlook in 2023 will continue to affect your household's finances? Times are challenging, but managing your money doesn't have to be. Through coaching from Christine Spiak and Compass Financial Wellness, you will learn how to create healthy money habits once and for all. Remove the money stress from your life and start living out your dreams today with Compass Financial Wellness. Book a complimentary appointment today at compassfinancialwellness.com. That's compassfinancialwellness.com.
It's time to be the beat and get our tempo back at the 2023 Mohawk Valley Go Red for Women Luncheon. I'm Jen Kita, a survivor and supporter of the American Heart Association. Go Red is helping all women live our best lives. Join me on February 3rd at Hearts Hill Inn for our Festival of Red lunch and inspiring program. Thank you to CVS, our national sponsor, and local sponsors Standard Heating, Cooling, and Insulating, MVHS, First Source, Preferred Mutual, Light 98.7, WKTV, The Daily Sentinel, and New York Sash. Head to gored.heart.org to join us.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All right, 7:45, time for us to do Hobica's free money question of the day. Joseph and Andrew Hobica at 315-724-1600. And Davey, who's our caller? Who'd we go with here?
John from Boonville.
John is in Boonville. Up with Joe Lode and the snow and the snowmobile races. John in Boonville, good morning.
Well, hello, Bill.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, we might have to someday do a Stefanov.
Yeah, I think that would be fun.
Yeah, which sounds like a last name in itself, something Russian. Yeah, Vladimir Stefanov just recently phoned in. John in Boonville, here's our question. Are you ready to go?
I am ready.
We got a whole bunch of stuff for you today, I believe. We're going to load you up, win or lose. But let's see if we can get you some cash. Here we go. Here's the question. Roy W. Allen purchased this recipe from his pharmacist in 1919 and created this soft drink that's still popular today. By the way, it also inspired one of the oldest fast food restaurants in America. Yeah. Ready? Go.
Oh, boy. A&W root beer?
A&W.
I was going to go with Dr. Pepper originally, but...
Smart on the A&W. That's correct.
Winning. Wow, winning.
How about that?
Yes, well, the restaurant gave me that, because I was going to go with Dr. Pepper, then you said restaurant, and then that's where I went with A&W.
Completely, that was a good clue. I'm glad I threw that clue in there.
Yeah, great clue.
Wasn't
I would have got it without it, I don't think.
Just so you know, John, it wasn't in the original question. That was me throwing something in there, so I'm so glad.
You're going to get a call from Mr. Hobica. He's going to be a little angry with you.
He is going to be PO'd today. Okay, we're going to give you a whole bunch. We'll give you the cash. I have the all-in-one food and fun card. $25 good at any of the restaurants: Aquavino, New Hartford, Babes, 72 Tavern and Grill, Taylor and the Cook, and any of the concession stands at Nexus or the Adirondack Bank Center. Plus, your choice of...
We have a pair of tickets for Chicken Wire Empire coming the first weekend in February at Munson Williams. And it's a jam band, half bluegrass. And they're very popular. And tickets are going quickly, I understand. Also, you have a chance for the admission to the home show at the Turning Stone coming up February 3rd through 5th.
You're going to be busy, man. Very busy.
That's fantastic.
Thank
you, Bill.
You're welcome. And maybe we should offer you up with that impression, a trip back from Syracuse. We'll also add from Fat Cats Comedy Club this weekend, Eddie Clark. He'll be in studio tomorrow. Table for 6 at any show this weekend. Davey will hook you up with all of that. So stand by, John, all right?
Fantastic.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. Man, do we load him up? What's wrong, Davey?
So he gets the concert tickets.
He gets
and
everything.
The home show?
Let him pick. If he can go to both, give him both.
Yeah, give him everything.
If he doesn't, we'll give him to somebody
else.
else.
Give him the whole works. This is more than the woman on Jeopardy won last night. She didn't win anything. Yeah. Mike Galimi is in studio right now. Mike, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. I feel like when the free money question comes out, if you get it wrong, you get stuff. If you get it right, you just load
You get
it.
$100.
Yeah, it's
and then
not
you
just
get
that, but
everything.
you get all this. You guys are just
But
throwing a
see-
basket. It's like you get a basket of things dumped on you.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Yes. We empty out the prize closet.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
Like someone finally got a question right.
Mike Galimi, good morning. It looks
Good
like
morning.
we're starting to figure out the field.
Yes, the field.
Yeah.
So my question was, did you have me on today as the candidate for mayor, or the council president, because there's so much going on right now? But it sounds like mayor.
Well,
Yeah.
I think
it's going to be a little blurry for a little while.
You could
right?
you could handle both. I think you
let's
could.
do it.
Well, let me ask you, first of all, we saw, I guess I'm going to go both ways here. So the first question is,
Okay.
do you think the field is full, or do you expect more candidates to hop in?
I always feel like someone else is going to jump in. However, people think it's crowded right now, but I think it's a healthy race. You've got
Yeah,
two people on, quote, both sides. I know there's other parties, but after New York State kind of like tanked the third parties, it's a healthy race right now. So it looks like we're going to have two primaries, and then we'll have a good general.
And what people aren't doing now is racing up and down Genesee Street because of the new traffic pattern design. My understanding is, did they do it yesterday? They extended it 90 more days?
They did extend it 90 days. What's interesting, though, is the study results, which were released to the council Monday, they don't necessarily show that traffic is slower. I know that there's a lot of people saying that, but it's not. So, and that's just
feedback.
That's situational experience. They're trying to, quote, slow traffic down, have less cars.
Was there a study released?
Well, so Wednesday,
I know there's a survey
at the council
released.
meeting, there was a survey, which
Yes.
they're calling a study.
Well, that survey is
That
survey is non-scientific.
Well, it's not just non-scientific. That was put out there, and many of us who looked at it, we said, look, this is probably just going to be out there for a while. Who knows? Can we verify who's, putting input in? No. Can we verify if people are taking it more than once? No. And then the other thing is that original request wanted that to go from Oriskany to Cottage Place. And I just learned of the news yesterday, too, that they're going to extend it 90 days. I saw it in a tweet. And then the administration later on in the day, put out that statement. And it does not seem that they're actually going to perform the study as they decided they should perform the study.
So they're not going to add.
I don't think they're going to do it.
They're not going to change in front of the Stanley.
Well, not just that, but listen, whether you're for this or not for this, the way this came about was they took a map from 2012, sponsored it on the day of a council meeting, and just did it. I know people are saying there was pre-trial debate, et cetera. There wasn't. This was an 11th hour thing. They just got it done. There was no process involved. One of the things they didn't do was actually one of the very few things they did commit to was we're going to do this from Oriskany to Cottage Place so we could see how this really works.
Right.
Because there's a lot of intersections, a lot of lights, a lot of driveways, a lot of in and out. We rely on parallel parking downtown, all these different things. They didn't do that. So, I'm going to have to go through. I have to talk to the administration myself because just like the public, I learned about this.
So regarding the restricting, can you vote or give your opinion more than once? According to Katie Aiello on the program earlier this week, it was restricted by IP address.
Yeah.
Now, I just heard from a member of the council who said
It's always restricted by IP address. SurveyMonkey does that. That's standard. That's on their website. But SurveyMonkey social survey is just that.
Agree.
Yeah.
But that means you could. So let's just. You don't have to be a whiz at computers.
Yeah.
You can go on your computer. You can shut off your Wi-Fi and go on your phone. You can go on another phone. You can go on another phone. You
Go
can
to your
on-
mom's house.
Yeah, because they're all going to have individual IP addresses.
And this goes for
Go
the
to
people
work.
who were for
Yeah.
it or against it.
Correct.
And that's the real problem
Correct.
here. This was not started as a project of how can we get the community to work together. This was rammed through the council by lobbying for votes. Okay. The council that night said, hey, even if you want to do this, can we at least talk about it first? No, we don't want to talk about it first. And then over the days after that, the community was just kind of coddled into this argument. And I really didn't appreciate how the people who wanted to drive this did that to the community. You've got just people angry right now and scared.
Can I just say,
Instead of working together.
Why does everything have to be such a long, drawn-out debate in Utica? Why not? So if the council decides and the mayor is good with it, we're going to do complete streets. Why not just do it? or don't do it. I don't think.
Well, exactly.
Or we can debate about it forever. 50% are going to be for it. 50% are going to be against it.
And that's the thing. This is
and
more,
we're never going to. We're going to just do it if you're going to do it.
This to me. All right. Now I've been the council president for 7 years now, and I've watched a lot of this happen. This is very indicative of the fact that they like the fact that people are arguing about this. And I'm not talking about the mayor in this case.
Who is they? Who is they?
Council people. Okay.
Which ones?
You've got council. Right now you have Katie Aiello, and I am going to say her name. Okay. It's the first ward council person. Instead of taking the people who don't agree with this, taking the people who do agree with it, and trying to understand what the incompatibilities are.
Right, meeting with business owners, meeting with the public, having some public hearings, and then making a decision.
And then, okay.
That's what happened with Stewart's.
Which, by the way, 2 weeks after they did this unexpectedly, I did present to the council, like, look, I know you started this already, but there's a process we could have taken before you tried something like this to research it. You should have established goals. Why are you doing this, et cetera, et cetera. So there's something measurable if you did want to, quote, study it officially.
Yeah.
Okay. But they didn't do that. What they're doing right now is creating divides. Okay. Within 5 days after that, you don't want this because you don't like bikes. You don't want this because you're old. Oh, there's people, and these are the things the council representatives were saying. Okay, there's people in the public who don't understand because they've lived here forever. Just every single identity politic was raised in this issue. So that's me observing this as council president, right? Now I'm running for
By
mayor.
the way, that is a fair assessment of what has been said.
It's disgusting.
I hate that. I hate it when somebody says, "Well, you just don't understand." It's like, okay, well, that's a problem.
Well, so
right.
I'll give you my situational experience on this, okay? I have been, and I know they've made this a bad thing, right? But I've been working downtown since 2008 for a long time, okay? But since the change, I have multiple just photographs and video footage of gridlock that I was in, gridlock that other people were in. I was in the car two days ago going north on Jenny. I wanted to make a left to go to the gym onto Oriskany Street.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. My wife tells me, Mike, why don't you put this on Facebook? I said, because people are going to think I'm making it up because of the way the council people have driven this into the community.
Yeah.
They're not fostering discussion and people working together.
I
had my mirror almost taken off because people are using that center lane as a pass-through around traffic because of the gridlock.
I want to bring in Katie Aiello. I do want to say we did not plan this.
No, but that's all right.
She texted a couple times in response
that's
to
fine.
what Mr. And I said, well, if you want to call in, go ahead and call in.
Hi, Katie, councilperson, Utica Common Council. Katie, are you there?
I'm listening to the conversation.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
got it.
Yes, sorry about
that.
No,
Good morning,
I'm
Katie.
just listening to the conversation. Good morning, guys. And there's parts of this, I just want to be clear that I have absolutely been meeting with people who do disagree on the concept of complete streets and hearing their genuine feedback. There's people who even like complete streets and notice the parts that do need improvement too. It's all part of the conversation. You could look at either with constituents or with the multiple times I've met with the Stanley. Anytime that somebody says they don't like it, it's not because they're ageist or some unknown reason. That's when I break down the aspects of we are ranked number 17th in the state for pedestrian accidents. These are the issues. This were the recommendations from the state, from our own engineers for 10 years now. So I just want to clarify that this conversation is very open and it's not to shame people or to mock, I don't know, whatever the thoughts are on that.
So,
okay, Mike.
So I have a question for Katie Aiello. Why, in that case, did you not use the Complete Streets policy when implementing your sponsored trial that you requested the mayor do? Because we had something on the books where there should have been a checklist. We should have looked at this. We should have had that discussion prior. You chose not to do that.
That checklist, if you look at it, they use 26 questions. I've been over this before. It's simple things like,
did you use the
are other
checklist,
bike lanes
Katie?
connected to this?
Did you use Complete Streets policy? Because you want to use the phrase Complete
Why
Streets.
don't you ask the administration whose trial this is? I'm a council person. I requested something for my district I thought would be beneficial for them and the hundreds of people who even live on this block.
Katie, you put a website up about Complete Streets policy, about your trial, and you've said it's your trial multiple times publicly.
I've never said it's my trial. I've never said this.
Katie.
I would please show me where I've said this. But this requesting a trial and asking for a trial are two different things. This
All
is
right,
what
so
I've brought up multiple times.
Semantics
This
aside,
is
I
the
have a question.
administration's
You've
trial. So if
mentioned
you have
complete
frustrations,
streets
bring it
multiple
out on
times. Did you use the complete streets policy when you decided to put this through on that evening beforehand?
Ask the engineers. Engineers do the checklist. I do not.
So you put
Any
this
issues you
forth
have with
without
this is
any.
based
So
on
you
the
put this forth
administration.
without any prior discussion. You took a map from 2012 and just put it through at the council meeting that night without talking to anyone else.
Let's say this one more time of policy and procedure. A council requests a trial. If the administration chooses they want to pursue a trial based on the information they have, they deliberate and do that. I am not in those meetings with the administration on what is being done with the trial. So any questions you have, you need to direct it at the administration.
So you've not met with the administration about this beforehand or after? You just said
Leading up to it, I've been having questions on it and encouraging it and advocating for it and showing car counts. And
so how exactly did you
supporting
tweet? How did you tweet at 7:00 in the morning last night or yesterday morning that this was going to be extended when the mayor had not announced it yet? And then later in the day, it was announced that it was being extended.
didn't say
You're
it was
meeting with the
going to be. I said, I
administration,
hope it will
Katie.
be.
You are doing the things that you say you're not doing, and that's the issue here. I appreciate the fact that you're trying to effectuate change. It's just the way you're going about it, unfortunately, is creating fear and anger in your district. And it's not appreciated because the people who support you, it's okay.
So part of why I'm calling in today is also to, I mean, I can have people show you the ones who disagree with me, and we still talk it out. So this narrative that you have, I'm sorry you have it. I'm here to talk. So apparently sometimes we have to do it on the radio, but I would like to keep doing that. So anybody else who has questions, you guys know where to find me, and keep the conversation going. Thanks so much.
All right, Katie, thank you.
So I just wanted I was going to comment on if I was mayor when this was brought to me, because it seems that it's very gray who's in control of this. Is it the council person? Is it the administration? No one. It's a hot potato right now. Why is that?
Yeah, talk about how you would handle this.
Right. So if the council had come to a mayor, if I was the mayor about this, I would have said, listen, what we need to do is actually bring in key business owners, people who've been there, people who are new, businesses that are going to locate. Let's talk about this. Okay, that's step one. Okay, communicate with people. Okay, step two is look at what your goals are. Because this has all been about reducing to 2 lanes and adding bike lanes.
Yeah.
But now that the first study, the SurveyMonkey study was out, now all of a sudden this is being morphed into, this isn't about reducing the lanes. It's about, how comfortable you feel downtown and all these other things. What are your goals? Okay. We did a study already. The mayor tried this once above the museum. Okay. The first thing I would have done had I been mayor is said, listen, we did this 2 years ago. We have feedback on this already. And if you're going to do this, we need to look at the fact that this, unfortunately, first, going to 2 lanes right now is not necessarily compatible with between Oriskany Street and the museum, because we have so many intersections, so much traffic. And I know they're saying, there's less than 10,000 cars. That's just a cherry-picked piece of data. We need to look at the actual inner workings of how downtown works. We just got rid of all of our north-south thoroughfares because of the hospital. We just changed how John Street functions with the turn circle. We just changed the fact that you can actually now use Genesee Street and 5S interchangeably.
Yes.
You don't have to go around it. So the first thing I would have said was, let's get the DOT in and let's do traffic count studies on State Street, Genesee Street, and John Street and Park Ave. Okay?
Yep.
That's number one. Number two, if people want to say you're going to slow traffic down, you need to actually know how fast traffic's moving in the first place.
A quick thing.
WIBX Utica Rome. Sandy, I'm coming right to you. Stand by.
I did get a comment here in that the term was used was calming traffic. That doesn't necessarily mean slowing
that's Katie
the MPA.
texting in. That was
I mentioned she did text in earlier.
But it's not calming. It's not calming. Are we on the air right now?
Yeah.
I'm stuck in gridlock.
No, we're at break.
I have people
Mike.
passing me. I have people. No, but but the way
No, we're on the air.
There's people passing me in parked car lanes. There's people passing me in the turn lane. There's people in gridlock. There's people backed up in Devereaux. This wasn't calming, and I wish for the good of how we're going to effectuate this, whether it changes or not, we have to look at the reality of this. And there's businesses right now who are saying, I don't know in the long term how this is going to work, because their goal is to reduce traffic. It's going to be traffic calming because you're going to remove the commerce from downtown.
If you're reducing traffic, you're reducing
At the
commerce
worst
for those
time,
businesses.
you're reducing
Number
commerce.
one. Number two, would you agree, though, that doing the study having a real DOT traffic study done and getting current numbers because you still
Before
have
any changes were made.
You have a hospital
Before
coming.
any changes were made.
You interview public. You do a public meeting. You interview businesses, and then the Common Council votes on it. It would not be the first time that the Common Council voted for something that really imposed on people.
Exactly.
And people either liked it or didn't like it.
Now, here's the key. It's how you...
But this whole running a government by polling is
ridiculous. That's mob rule. That creates anger.
You go
that
nowhere.
Creates a society that does not get along. Someone who wants to be a leader should have stood up, and I wasn't in this position then, and said, listen, hospital's not online yet. Nexus is not online yet. Now's not the time to even try this.
Well, that's
we need
another...
to see where downtown's going.
Option.
I think that's a good point you brought up. I just want to disagree in the regard of I don't think they're letting the poll determine whether or not it stays or not. I think it's okay for a city to put something out. Now, before I give feedback, I'd like to know what it's like to drive on a road with a different pattern, right? So they got some feedback.
Yeah.
I hope they. I agree. You can't govern with polls.
Let's not forget, though. Can we just not forget? This is a traffic pattern.
Yes.
When was the last time we debated a traffic pattern?
Well, in North Utica, they did this. They changed the pattern.
Yeah, but guess what? It didn't own the airwaves. We have so many things going on right now. There is, an issue in South Utica, which is St. Elizabeth's. We're going to figure out what to do with that. We are trying to figure out.
That's a very good point. There's a lot to worry about, and we're being
there's tons of storefronts that are empty right now that are currently being redeveloped that we have to make sure can in fact have a good chance of being redeveloped at this point.
We're being sucked into this, and everybody's wasting all of their
Crime,
energy on this.
Policy, parks. The fact that I have to mow T-ball fields because they're not
on the
mowed.
other side, though. I got to disagree.
I'll let you. We're already on the other side. Sandy is in Utica. She wants to comment. She's been waiting. I want to get to her. Hi, Sandy.
Good morning. I have a comment about this traffic pattern.
Okay.
I'm down in downtown Utica about at least 3 or 4 times a week. That block where Pizza Classic is a nightmare.
I hear that from other
all,
people, too.
The delivery
that's
trucks
rough.
are either going to park in the lane that you drive in, and everybody else is going to jet into that turning lane going up Genesee and coming down Genesee. So now you're face-to-face with cars trying to make a turn or trying to go straight. And it is just, you got either that or the delivery trucks are parked in the turning lane. And they're crossing the lane where they got to deliver with probably a hand truck or whatever else they got to go. Now they're trying to get past the traffic. People are ticked off because they got to wait for them to get across, which is very dangerous. The bike lane, suppose you're parked and you don't see somebody on a bike. You open your door, they're going to go flying.
Right.
I've never seen anything like it. And for the people that have to drive down there daily, you either find an alternate route or you take your chances.
Well, that's
because
very interesting,
there's going to
Sandy.
be a catastrophe.
Because I have heard people say, I just don't drive down there anymore.
Right, and that's what we don't need for our downtown right now. We need people downtown.
You want to bring business back to downtown? Yeah. That's not the way to do it.
All right.
And the poor Stanley, what are they supposed to do?
Yeah.
They haven't changed anything at the stand.
I understand, but it's part of the proposal.
Give them time. They will.
Okay. All right, Sandy.
I'm just not in favor of this at all.
All right.
I just say, please don't hit me. Please don't hit me while I'm driving up those blocks to get where I got to be.
All right. Very good. Sandy, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any truth to the rumor out there that Jim Brock has actually put up a giant sign that said "No complete streets downtown"? It's a big banner.
I haven't seen it, but
I hear.
I would not be surprised.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Manaski, I know you're.
So I completely understand and I'm sympathetic to what Sandy said there. But if you're not looking in your side view mirror,
that's your
and
problem.
you might clip a bike. Well, guess what? With the 4 lanes of traffic, if you're not looking and you open the door, a car might clip your door. I just want to say that.
So these things could have been discussed prior. Okay, I parallel park downtown quite a bit. I have an office downtown. I'm either parked in the lot next to the Stanley, or I'm parallel parking because I have to come downtown, get some things in the office, go somewhere else, et cetera, et cetera. These are the things we could have hashed out before the changes were made. But, I mean, this is my situational experience. I've almost been hit, and I hope it doesn't. Look, when I parallel park, there's only 1 lane now. So I have either people running right up on me. I've had to throw my Jeep in gear multiple times. This is just my situation. Some people are reporting good experiences with this, right? But the reality is, if someone came to me with this and I was the mayor, I would say, listen, council, if you're going to do this, I'm going to have to work with you on it because you're the council. You're the legislative group, right? I don't think that's necessarily what's going on here right now, but that's what I would have said. And then I would have said, listen, my initial assessment is on this over the last 15 years of this being debated. I mean, this goes back to the Rivaro administration. Seriously, they were going to put a median in the road.
Yeah.
Okay, this has been looked at for a long time. If you wanted to try this, where it makes sense is not between Oriskany Street and the museum. Where it makes sense is between the museum and the parkway. But right now, what's the end goal? Within 2 weeks of this going out there, people came to the council meeting and said, we can't wait to see this going all the way to New Hartford. You've got the city planner all over social media saying, we can't wait to do this all the way to New Hartford. Guess what? Going down, forget complete streets because they did not use that policy. Going down to 2 lanes between Oriskany and the museum doesn't necessarily make sense. And maybe you can make it work, but we got a lot of work to do. And we got a lot more people coming downtown soon. Between the museum and the parkway, go ahead. Between the parkway and New Hartford, no way. As much as you might want it, look at Price Chopper. Look at the French Road intersection where Sunnyside is. You can't have 2 lanes of traffic there. These people aren't looking at the reality of how people use our city, and it's very frustrating. As a mayor, I would have to say, listen, we need to guide this a little different because you're making some rash decisions.
Mike Galimi is in here. We're talking about a couple of different issues, but Complete Streets did ambush the entire thing.
It did.
Well, and Galimi is running for mayor. He's currently the Common Council president. Manasseh, and then Tom, I'm getting to you. Stand by.
I appreciate what you said about this kind of ruling the airwaves, but let me ask you this question.
Did I do an ID? WIBX?
Yes, you did.
Utica Rome.
Thank you. The trial period just ended this week, and now it's been extended. And as you can see, the phone lines light up because people have opinions.
Exactly.
The time to discuss this isn't May. It's now. We don't know. Well, no. First of all, there's still patients in the hospitals that, it needs to be determined what the future purpose
100%.
is. But they're still there. There's not, as far as we know, somebody bidding on the buildings, and the hospital doesn't know what to do with them. So if the city wants to weigh in on that, I agree that's an important issue, but I don't think it supersedes what we're talking about right now.
I agree with you 100%, and I'm talking about it right now because this is how it was done. Okay?
Fair enough.
Celeste Friend and Katie Aiello sponsored this, had 3 other votes, got it done. The mayor said, sure, I'll do it for you, so we are talking about it. I don't think that's how we should have effectuated change in the city because we're angry talking about it. Because people had to wake up and find out about it. And then here's the other issue I have.
I agree with that point.
Okay,
certainly.
Here's the other thing. How many times did you hear, and this is on record at the council meeting, people came to the council meeting, to public comment, and in air quotes, mocked all the people who requested real process before this change was made, okay, or this change was thought about. And they, in air quotes, oh, guys, this is just a trial, right? Well, does this feel like just a trial right now? Because they made permanent changes to the road that are epoxied, and now all of a sudden they're extending it. After even, they didn't do what they said they were going to do. They said they were going to run this 90 days and then assess the Survey Monkey survey. They didn't even do that. That's why at the last council meeting, I requested the survey be delivered to the council members because I figured at the next meeting we'd be deliberating it.
The survey is a moot point anyway.
It is a moot point because it's ridiculous.
Yes.
But they still didn't do what they said they were going to do, which is a problem.
Tom in Utica, you're on the radio, Tom.
Living down here at Devereaux and Genesee Street, when oft times you'll try to drive out of Devereaux Street onto Genesee, and your car will be blocked by cars on Genesee Street that what they call spillback after a red light. The cars will keep going, and they'll cover up a street so that you can't get out into it. And that spillbacking backs up cars all the way 2 blocks from the light down there at Grace Church up, shutting us off, and all the way up to past the state office building. So it's a big problem. Tell you what I like. I've got a walker. I like having that lane to get out into. That's nice.
Yeah.
But that's not something where you would put an entire city on its ear to accommodate. By the way, the main thrust, we have got big changes coming to traffic flow with that hospital and all the other things that are going to be developing, and this wasn't trial time.
Well,
it just wasn't trial time.
That's a great thought that we've been talking about a lot, and that is that the hospital has been promised to not just bring traffic downtown for the hospital, but and Nexus as well. But all the feeder businesses that are gonna come off that, which should mean more traffic to Genesee Street. Tom, thank you.
If Utica grows, taking the traffic flow from 2 lanes to 1 is about dumb as you know what.
All right. Tom, thank you. This is Mike who says, I think this is interesting, and I'm going to wrap this up. The sidewalks downtown are way too big for the current population. Figure out a way to utilize a portion of it as a bike lane. I mean, those are large sidewalks.
Mm-hmm. That's an interesting thought, and if I can just slide one more in, this comes from somebody who works downtown at the state office building. Mike is 1,000% correct. Going in and out of the state office building every day, you can see the backup and gridlock.
And why is it that we didn't run this the way we ran Stewart's? You know, the public is against it. You have people that are signing petitions. Everybody's up in arms. The planning board goes in and says there's going to be a Stewart's.
I don't think the two are comparable. But
well, I'm just saying it's how government works.
It's sometimes how government
And I want
works.
your take on the Stewart's.
Stewart's? Again, last summer, a council person went into the public and started doing public meetings on something that was not presented to the planning board. People were very concerned houses were going to be torn down all the way up Woodlawn, multiple houses, that there was going to be 10 to 12 gas pumps, et cetera, et cetera, et
And
cetera.
I think they've adjusted their plan.
The way they originally submitted it was that there's 6 cars worth of gas pumps and that they, as we know, are going to take the house on the corner.
Yeah.
Point being is people were not brought into this to bring public input in. They were brought into this to be scared of it. Again, with Stewart's, it created arguments.
Are you
and
saying
unfortunately, that choked off something very important that I'm really aggravated with right now.
Okay.
And again, this has to do with how the mayor has advisory control over the boards, planning board, scenic and historic. Scenic and historic wanted to block the demolition of the 2-family house. They felt that that was going to tear down the fact that...
History.
No. Tear down the fact that Stewart's could build a gas station. Okay? They were all celebrating. It's over. We blocked the 2-family house.
Right.
It's over. Prior to this all starting, I had an interaction. Well, I had an official interaction. I asked the planning board, I said, listen, or the scenic and historic board. I said, listen, I understand that you're assessing this 2-family house, but a large part of your role here is to work with Stewart's to fit the Stewart's project into the community, the way it looks in the scenic and historic district, the facades, the colors, if there's dormers, what the roof line. So if they could do this, it could be built, but then look like part of the fabric of South Utica. That was totally missed. Everyone ignored it. They actually did not do that review and passed it as is. Okay, as far as I'm concerned, someone who lives 2 blocks from there, my council person let me down because they were worried about making sure they could block something because they felt they could block it. That was already zoned for that. The reality was we should have let the public interact, but then people who are the leaders in these situations, planning board, scenic, historic, et cetera, have to also pay attention to all their other jobs so that if something can happen, it does. Because look at the last Stewart's. They went to court, and the courts decided, no, they can do what they're doing.
Right.
Okay? So now we're getting a Stewart's at this juncture. I'm going to try and work with them to say, hey, can we modify this so it does look like the community?
Right.
But again, it was zoned for that already. The people tried to stop something. I appreciate all of that. Okay, but the council person led them into a fight she knew was not going to change. Okay, the council person was on Facebook saying this was spot zoning. It was not spot zoning when they got the variances.
By the way, this just shows you how vicious this whole thing has gotten. This person says Katie is slowing down traffic and making people walk so they stop at her business. Because of this, I will never go to her business.
All right.
And I do think that what happens is
that's not good.
People are choosing
That's not
sides.
good.
We're in a situation where, as you said, people are angry. It's creating a divide.
Right. So again,
that's not healthy.
with Stewart's, I would have liked to have seen the administration in front of that instead of letting misinformation flow and make people angry. Okay. That Stewart's debate, that Stewart's planning board and scenic historic process would have been much different had the administration stood up and said, listen, council members, listen, public, as much as this might be to your dismay, these 2 properties are zoned this way now. So this is the reality of what we're walking into.
Yeah.
It's hard to explain reality to people sometimes and definitive things because it hurts. But we've talked about this for years. Look at the hospital project. Look at all the different things we deal with. when we decide to divide people up into for and against and pro and I don't want this and you're an idiot. And now we're arguing. Guess what? Things still happen, but then they don't happen in a way where we've brought them into the community and integrated them into the community. Then they just get rammed through.
Yeah.
It's our own fault sometimes.
Michael Leamy, thank you. You've hogged up enough of our time.
Hey, man. This is great, though. Usually it's 10 minutes and I'm out, you know?
Good radio.
Yeah.
That's how I see it. 8:18, got a break. We'll come back on WIBX.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica Rome, W295DI Utica Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
At Risky Garage, we'd like to thank our customers for voting us the best of the best destination for tires in the Utica area. Give your locally owned business an opportunity to meet or beat tire prices from the internet tire retailers or chain stores. For brakes, tires, funny noises, warning lights, or any of your auto repair needs, come and experience the best of the best service at a Risky Garage down the street from Utica College or online at ogtire.com. Come on, say it with me. Make the noise. ogtire.com.
First, we decide where we want to go. Then we need to know the best way to get there. Hi, my name's Adam Barada. I'm the owner of Advantage Gold. We're the highest rated precious metals firm in the country. We teach people how to own physical gold and silver. Now, we've won the Best of TrustLink Award 4 years in a row because we educate our clients on how to buy gold and silver the right way. We don't pay celebrity spokespeople millions of dollars. We'd rather pass that value on to you. Call 800-900-8000 and speak with one of our experts. We'll send you a free gold kit along with my latest #1 national best-selling book, The Great Devaluation. Call 800-900-8000. That's 800-900-8000. Get the best information, the best process, the best service, the best value. Call Advantage Gold at 800-900-8000. Call 800-900-8000.
Advantage Gold is not an investment advisor or a tax advisor. Consult with your financial advisor before investing.
I'm Martin Hoke, the inventor of Navage Nasal Care, and I love Navage. I've told you about how your nose is the body's air filter, that Navage's powered suction will help flush out allergens, viruses, mucus, and germs, and that Navage will help you breathe better. But what do other people say about Navage? Like Tara, quote, "My doctor wanted me to do saline rinses for my allergies, but I've never been able to successfully use a neti pot. Navage uses suction power, so it's foolproof. There are nights when I'll have particularly bothersome allergies. I'll bust it out, and the results are immediate. It's such a relief. It's become a lifesaver." Unquote. She's one of over 100,000 online reviews praising Navage, the all-natural solution trusted by over 3 million people to help you breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier without drugs. Navage is available at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Target, Rite Aid, and online. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E, clean nose, healthy life.
Well, it's the year of giveaways at New York Sash. Every month in 2023, New York Sash will be giving away a prize in their showroom. And that includes this month. Right now, you can enter to win a 6-month membership to the Mill Family Fitness Center in New York Mills. New York Sash wants to help someone start off the year right. If you're looking to improve your well-being, stop in New York Sash and enter to win the January showroom giveaway, a 6-month fitness membership valued over $200. And while you're there, you can improve your home as well with energy-efficient windows and doors, and even take advantage of the New York Sash buy 2 windows, get 1 free sale. There's no purchase necessary. Just stop in to enter to win at New York Sash on Oriskany Boulevard in Whitesboro.
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811, brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
At the American Lung Association, we're fighting for a day when we can all breathe easier. We're fighting for clear skies over every city and healthy lungs throughout the country. We're fighting to free millions of Americans from the addictive grip of tobacco and the devastating effects of lung disease. The American Lung Association isn't just fighting for air, we're fighting for all the things that make it worth breathing, and we can use your help. See what you can do at fightingforair.org.
Well, Valentine's Day is just around the corner. And think about cheese and Hemstraats, delicious artisanal cheeses from around the world. And we're talking about even amazing triple cream cheeses as well. These are imported cheeses that you'll not find in your local grocery store. And you can create a charcuterie board. They have all of the charcuterie from around the world, Italy, France, and elsewhere, Spain, just the most delicious meats and cheeses. And you put together this incredible board that is great for a party, a get-together. These are delicious cheeses. If you love cheese, you'll love artisanal premium cheese located at 900 Oswego Street in Utica. And with the Valentine's Day holiday coming up, think about Hemstraats for Valentine's Half Moons, available in both vanilla and chocolate bottoms. Sounds like the perfect Valentine's out there, using the most incredible delights, cheese and delicious half moons. Artisanal premium cheese, open 7 days a week, 900 Oswego Street in Utica.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
And you know, coming up on Sunday, we'll be out as WIBX Presents along with Mark Butler and Rocky and Barb Fiato, the big tailgate party. And it'll benefit a number of charities, including Sleep in Heavenly Peace. It is this Sunday afternoon at Waterfront Grill in Herkimer. Tickets are $25, and you get a full buffet. The games will be on the TV, all of that. It's got prizes. It's a great door prizes. It's a great event. And we will be there on Sunday to take advantage of that.
I have a long list of comments here that I'd like to get to. Big Honey in Hecla says, I wish they were this passionate about crime in Utica. Utica Councilman, thank you. Utica Councilman Joe Beatrice says, like I said from the beginning, the mayor has the right to do the trial on his own. There was no need to get the council involved in the trial. They should have done the study first and then brought it to the council. John in Bridgewater. Jeff, who is paying the engineer? And Rose in Utica says, change is always hard. It's 2023. Let's move into the future. It's a bike lane. That's a positive move forward. And, of course, you can send your comments to us via the WIBX 950 app. You can comment on the live YouTube stream as well. And you can call our man, Uncle Smitty, and he'll get you on the air.
Well, I think the mayor is loving this right now, right? Because it's moving something that he's for, I believe, forward. And he's not taking any of the heat.
Correct.
He's letting a couple of members of the Common Council drive it.
Can I just mention also the point about the bike lane, whether you're for or against it? It occurred to me yesterday, and I guess I knew this, but there's a bike lane on Route 5S. Was that a state highway? Is that considered a state highway?
Yes. Yeah. That bike lane. That is state, but you're coming off. Isn't there along the canal? They have the bike. That's that path along the canal. That's different, but that's a state path as well.
But where they put in the quote road diet. Remember, they thinned the roads and they put bike lanes in there. So even from that standpoint, would you have bike lanes on a state highway, but you don't have them on a downtown business block? People think. I guess just my thought being the idea that bike lanes being in a downtown area is so, off.
Well, I don't think it's the bike lane that is the issue. It's the fact that they're going down to 2 lanes from 4 is probably the issue.
Also, the
bike lanes are just a part of it, because I think a lot of people have said, well, like Mike said earlier, shorten, make the sidewalks smaller and put the bike lane in there.
I thought there was an interesting idea. Never even occurred to me, but that would be interesting to see if that could work and how much that would cost. Although I will tell you, I know Adirondack Bank, I just went down there last week. I stopped in for something, and they were putting in, they have heated sidewalks in front of Adirondack Bank down there on Genesee Street.
That's cool.
So they were replacing the coils. It was kind of a cool process to watch.
So the other part is I like how restaurants are able to use that sidewalk, like
Swifties.
Right, over in that area by the Stanley, they're able to use that for outdoor seating. The only problem is it is a little bit difficult because you're on a hill, basically. Genesee Street there is on a bit of a hill. It's not completely flat. But utilizing that way, I think, is is great. It gets people to be able to eat outdoors, and that, I think, is popular today. Some other stuff going on out there. You know, a new study shows that even just 10 minutes of physical activity a day can help your brain.
Did they do the study before the workout or after?
I believe all during, and then they polled everybody. What do you think? Here's Dr. Tara Narula talking about some of the things they found during the study. Here we go.
What did they do during the day? How much did they sleep? When were they active? When were they sedentary? If you downshifted from moderate or vigorous activity towards more sleep, sedentary behavior, or light activity, by about 7 to 10 minutes, you lost about 1 to 2% of your cognitive ability. They speculate that it could be increasing your cerebral perfusion or the blood flow to your brain.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah.
That is interesting, and I can tell you, and many people will attest to this. For instance, if I take the dog for a walk, even when it's 25 degrees outside and snowing, I feel better when I come home. I don't know if that's my body saying it's so great to be in a warm house.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it probably is that.
Right, but like
point.
I feel mentally like I've cleared some things up. I've mentally worked some things out. And I see a different behavior in my dog if she exercises, if she gets a walk that day, or if she doesn't. She's like cranky and
It's all
whiny.
in the brain. It's all in the brain.
Versus, she's just chilling.
A woman claims that when she received her fast fashion Shein clothing order, I don't know if I say that right, Shein.
Say it faster.
Shein. It contained multiple notes. One of them said, "You're going to die in this suit." You know, this mail order stuff, though. You can order stuff, and then if you don't like it, you put it in a bag and ship it back to them. Kind of cool.
That's great for the environment.
Here's part of the video that Amanda Ellis put up on TikTok. Very nervous that she's going to die in the suit.
Upon opening it, 6 pieces of unfolded papers fell out. I opened one up, and they all say the same thing. You are going to die in this suit. A little bit worried and scared. I will not be wearing this dress, nor trying it on. Call the local police department even.
Somebody's pulling a prank.
I think so.
You think?
Yeah.
Remember we talked earlier about that woman, the adult woman in New Jersey, caught posing as a high school student after 4 days of attending classes. Dr. Aubrey Johnson is the superintendent of the New Brunswick Public Schools, breaking down exactly what went on.
Last week, by filing some false documents, an adult female posing as a student was able to be enrolled in our high school. She attended school for 4 days. She was in a few classes and then most time in our guidance suite as we was trying to get more information from her.
Last night, she contacted me at 10:56 p.m. asking how I was. As soon as I saw the message, I blocked the number and couldn't fall asleep for the next 2 hours.
Okay. It's a weird story.
It is.
She was 29 and wanted to go back to school. Don't know why.
So
she's been arrested.
Okay. But is the girl claiming she was victimized by a text message?
I guess. I don't know what that is. Must have gotten a text message from the 29-year-old. Weird.
It said, I don't even know what it said, but
how are you?
How are you? And
Are
she
you
was
okay?
so disrupted by this, she couldn't go to sleep for the next 2 hours.
Do you remember the after school specials, Davey? Right? How old are you, Davey?
I'll be 48.
Okay, so you're younger. He has an older soul. Davey does.
Yeah.
Like I picture you at like 63. Your mind. Because you know a lot of things, and
Thank
you.
It was the ABC after school specials.
You're right. And you remember James at 15?
Yes.
And then what happened when he turned 16? They changed the name of the show to
James at 16.
At 16. Now he's James at 62, and sadly he's passed away.
Aw.
Yeah. Hard to believe he's 62 already.
Well, there's a sequel coming out called James in the Ground.
Yeah, I think there is. Lance Kerwin starred in the 1977 made-for-TV movie James at 15. So popular, they quickly made it into a series, James at 16. He died on Tuesday. He was 62. Back then, he was the highest-paid adolescent TV star. Here are some clips.
Hey, are you the guy who took the action shots?
In the paper?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was me.
Well, let me tell you something. That was one heck of a shot. I mean, that was decent for a change. Real decent.
Hey, thanks. That was a great game you guys had.
Listen, you wouldn't happen to have any more shots. I mean, I'd like to buy a few from you.
Oh, no, I'll make them up for you for free.
You do that?
Yeah.
That's class, buddy. Real class.
Well, that was some good acting right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's how they did it back then. And then I just thought this story was really something. During last night's Duquesne Loyola Chicago basketball game, there was an Uber Eats order put in. And the Uber Eats delivery guy literally walked out onto the court with the food order while play was going on. Apparently had no idea. Listen, I'm doing my job. This is what they told me to do. I don't care if there's a game going on.
That's real or publicity
Well,
stunt?
it's real. Here's the TV play-by-play announcers running the replay. The delivery guy walked onto the corner of the court only 2 feet away from a player with the ball. I almost feel like this is a publicity stunt. Right? How could it not be? Here's the audio.
We've got an official's timeout. Somebody came on the floor. Uber Eats delivery or something there is carrying some McDonald's.
Was he going to deliver the McDonald's to somebody on the court?
That's an Uber Eats sticker. Let's see if we can see this. No, this is going to be the turnover in the
There
court.
he is,
There,
right
no,
there in
he
the corner. Yay.
So this guy's actually, who's he delivering it to?
The ref.
The
ref
official?
said later. Give it to me later, not now.
I just don't understand. There's no way NCAA would allow
That's
that
my
to
thought.
walk on the court and interrupt play.
As a promotion, right?
I mean,
As a paid promotion.
we've seen what Gary Heenan has to go through to do the teddy bear toss,
right?
To stop play in a Division III college hockey game. I mean, this is Division I college basketball.
So I don't think this is an
How
advertisement they paid
how
for.
How did they really know he was Uber Eats? They saw the sticker. It does seem like it was kind of a commercial. You know,
It
Uber
does,
Eats will
but-
go anywhere, anytime to get you your food.
Yeah, and I could see, though, that this not being a paid-for advertisement, but them telling the delivery guy, look, you're not going to get fired if you cause a scene here.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, well, that's what they did. I want to talk about an event that's coming up, Walk a Mile in My Shoes, coming up soon, and Utica Rescue Mission is in the midst of this event. Susan Wood is from the Rescue Mission right now. Hi, Susan. Talk about the...
Good morning.
Good morning. Talk about the event.
Good morning.
If you could.
Yes, the event is Walk a Mile in My Shoes is our 12th annual event to bring awareness to homelessness and hunger in our area, and it will take place on Saturday, February the 4th, at 10 o'clock at Hannah Park on Saturday, February the 4th. So we're looking forward to everyone coming out and supporting the event. It's our 12th annual event. We're asking everyone to go to uticamission.org to register,
Okay.
or they can register the day of the event.
I got to say, we don't know about the forecast these days because, you know, they struggle predicting what's going to be like tomorrow. But right now, initially, as you look out by a week or so, a week and a half, it looks like it's going to be quite cold then. And really, that's what you want, Susan, right? People to understand what it's like for people to be out there in the cold.
Exactly. 2 years ago, we were there, and it was 8 below zero on that
Wow.
Saturday. And someone asked if we were going to cancel, and we said absolutely not, because there are people in our community who are out here today without shelter and without adequate clothing.
Yeah.
So, yes, we're going to be right there.
All
That's
right.
exactly what we want. And it's a way for people we actually walk a mile from downtown around the properties of the mission and back downtown. And it's just really a way for us to bring awareness of what our friends and neighbors struggle with, and also to raise money to provide food and to help in the shelter. Because to shelter one person, even in our shelter, is $55 a night.
Wow.
And a meal, with our budget, we've been able to still make a meal for $2.19.
Okay.
So the registration fee for the event is $25 for an individual, or $15 if you're part of a group. And that $25, for example, will purchase or pay for 11 meals, if you can imagine that.
Okay, wow.
At $15, the registration fee covers the cost of 6 meals. So we're asking everyone in the community to come on down, and we're looking forward to organizations and clubs and church members gathering together for this great event.
All right.
And again, it's going to be February the 4th. Registration is at 10 o'clock. And it's at City Hall in Hannah Park. So we're going to be registering inside at
All
City
right.
Park,
And then you
at
walk.
City Hall,
Okay.
and then starting the walk at 11 o'clock.
Susan Woods, Utica Rescue Mission, thank you so much.
Great job.
Thank you. Have a great day. Thank
You too. Thanks. Got a break. We'll come back here in a second. Stand by. Much to get to before we get to 9 o'clock. moving fast this
Are we
morning.
going to argue this morning for once? I mean, we haven't argued about anything all day.
I know. There's got to be something out there. What will it be? Both of our teams are in the tank right now, sitting home, right?
Yeah,
what are we going to argue
unfortunately.
about? I don't know. Dave, you'll come up with that. Daylight Donuts is and we won't argue about this. You love the coffee. You like it without anything in it. No latte here, no cream and sugar. Black, Seattle's best coffee at Daylight Donuts.
A hot coffee, and I'll tell you, I'll grab one of those breakfast sandwiches to go because those are delicious as well.
They also do have the lattes, over 14 different flavors of latte. There's an almond joy that you could take advantage of. Just so delicious. And that's Daylight Donuts. Fresh bagels every day, fresh donuts every day, and that drive-through is lightning fast. You're in and out and on your way. Daylight Donuts in New Hartford.
We invest in Herkimer and Oneida counties.
We work with the community to make things better for old and young alike.
Today, tomorrow, and in the years to come.
Every day, we put the community's long-term savings to work. Who are we? We are the Community Foundation of Herkimer and Oneida counties.
FoundationHOC.org.
We're your community foundation.
Working to build a vibrant region
with opportunity for all.
Milk, eggs, $42. Ma'am, you okay?
Need bucks? With Jackson Hewitt, don't wait weeks for the IRS to send your tax refund. Come in now for up to $3,500 with a no-interest, no-fee refund advance loan when you file your taxes. That's up to $3,500 today. Don't let high prices get you down. When every dollar matters, it matters who does your taxes. So get to Jackson Hewitt today. For eligible clients, loans by Republic Bank and Trust Company. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
Steve Pawnee Chevy wants to make it easy to get you into a new car in the new year. That's why you'll find a huge selection of 2023s in stock and incredible lease deals. Test drive our 2023 Chevy Equinox LS all-wheel drive with convenience package, 27 months, 10,000 miles per year lease for only $397 a month. Or how about our 2023 Chevy Silverado Crew Cab LT, four-wheel drive all-star edition, 36 months, 10,000 miles per year. Lease it for just $497 a month. Steve Pawnee Chevrolet. Find new roads at your locally owned and operated dealership, Route 28 in Herkimer, or online at StevePawneeChevy.com. See why it's always easy to do business at Steve Pawnee Chevrolet. Customer must qualify top-tier credit with GM Financial. 25 cents per mile mileage penalty over 30,000 miles. $1,000 down plus all taxes, fees, first payment due on delivery. Must have current GM lease and household and take delivery by 1/31/2023.
I just remember reading those letters, and I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do?
Dana called Tax Relief Solutions for a free tax help consultation.
It was like the first thing they did was, everything's going to be okay.
Tax Relief Solutions can help stop wage garnishments, remove liens from your property, and settle your debt with the IRS for much less than you owe.
I owed $31,000 and change, and the offer and compromise was about 10% of the total that I owed. We have accepted the offer. I can't even explain the sense of relief that I have now.
Don't face the IRS alone. Let Tax Relief Solutions fight for you. Find out all the IRS relief programs available in the first free call. 800-200-7174. That's 800-200-7174.
It should be a company that everybody knows about.
The call is free. The information is free. You could save thousands. Call 800-200-7174. 800-200-7174.
Adirondack Home Furniture's Flex Steel Big Game Sale is going on now, but only for a limited time. Hurry in for discounts up to 15% off select sofas, recliners, occasional pieces, and leather furniture. With hundreds of designer fabrics to choose from, your new piece is guaranteed to have the look you want. Stop dreaming and start creating the home of your dreams with quality, long-lasting Flex Steel furniture from Adirondack Home Furniture. Beauty and comfort is made to last with Flex Steel's exclusive lifetime warranty blue steel spring seating. Stop into Adirondack Home Furniture today and save up to 15% during their big game sale. Visit their Flex Steel gallery for the best selection of Flex Steel furniture on sale. The best value and top quality furniture for your home is at Adirondack Home Furniture. You don't want to miss out on the Flex Steel big game sale at Adirondack Home Furniture. Hurry in, sale ends soon. Located at the former Riverside Mall, Horatio Street, Utica.
Hey, River Hills Properties is the only locally owned and operated real estate agency in the region that is locally owned and operated completely. They don't, commissions don't go off to a big chain. It's completely locally owned and operated, started by Bill and Robin Monjo. And it's all the extra services that they provide here in the area, things that aren't done normally by real estate agents. The fact that they don't use the lockbox. They'll make sure your listing agent, every time your house is shown, is there to make sure the property is up to par, ready to go, lights are on. You want to put your best foot forward. You want to be in the best light. And that includes having the lights on when somebody comes walking through. That first impression is so important when selling a home. There's the book, 40 to 100 pages, filled with details about the house. And, of course, everything from the very, very start to the very, very end. Your listing agent is there by your side, working with you to make sure everything goes as planned. Located in Barneville, Little Falls, and Utica, serving the entire New York State region. Online, it's riverhillspropertiesllc.com. Call 315-896-1009. Remember, nobody sells homes like River Hills Properties.
WIBX 950 and 106.9 FM. This is Keeler.
All righty now. It's 8:44, and news coming up top of the hour. We're hanging out here in a very interesting day where Complete Streets, I guess I really didn't pay much attention to what Complete Streets were until the last month or so, and now it's all anybody wants to talk about. So many comments this morning on this. It's been the controversy, I would say. On the line right now has nothing to do with Complete Streets. Never Ride a Roller Coaster Upside Down is the name of the book. It is a real opportunity to talk about reinventing yourself as an entrepreneur. Jeff Smoylin is the author and is on the line right now. Jeff, good morning.
Morning. How are you?
Good. Where'd you get the title, by the way? Never Ride a Roller Coaster Upside Down.
Well, I have always thought about my life being a roller coaster ride. And when I realized all the crazy things we had done, I thought it was really more of a roller coaster ride upside down.
What are some of the crazy things you've done? I know the media company, the Seattle Mariners. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, we started All Sports Radio in New York City, WFAN, sort of built the two largest hip-hop brands in the world at Hot 97 in New York and Power 106. They owned a lot of radio stations, a lot of TV stations, owned a Major League Baseball team, had the largest network in Hungary that was nationalized by Viktor Orban, was a U.S. ambassador, and then lived through all the ups and downs of the media business and the sports business. So it's just been a lot of fun, crazy experiences.
You know, I was just starting my career when I was at a station that was a Mets affiliate when WFAN became WFAN, and then how did it work? I forgot. Was there WHN? Was that a country station?
It was.
In New York,
bought it, it was a country station. We always joked it was the largest country station in America, which meant it was about 30th in New York City because there aren't that many country listeners in New York. And then it was an idea I had. I always joke it was my only idea in 40 years of the company. But I wanted to do all sports. Our managers didn't want to do it. They finally said, hey, let's try it. It was a disaster for a long time. Jim Lampley called it the Vietnam War of Emmis, and it was known as Smullyan's Folly. And then we merged with NBC, moved it to 660, put Mike and the Mad Dog on, Don Imus on, and everything clicked, and it became, now it was sort of the father of 600 sports radio stations all around the country.
And that was a big deal when you took over 66.
Right.
I mean, that WNBC. That was such a big deal. And I almost feel, too, we'll talk just a little bit about this and go on to the book, but I look at the shiny things and I get distracted. And I'm a Mets fan. And I think 86 played such a big role in the development of WFAN. Do you agree with that?
Well, yeah. I mean, we always said that if you want to do all sports, build it around a baseball team.
Yeah.
And what better baseball team than to build it around the 86 Mets? The problem was when we started the station in 87, the Mets started having drug problems. We joked that when we merged with NBC, we had a losing radio station, we had a baseball team with drug problems, and we had Imus who had been in and out of rehab. So I said, what could go wrong with this deal? But it all came together, and the thing worked out beautifully.
Well, and it started a trend. It was the beginning of where we have compartmentalized radio. It's so niche today.
Right.
To be able to go, it's the way you expect radio to be today.
Right.
And
It's narrow, fragmented.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
But the book just tells some of the crazy stories of early days of radio and TV, and then what it's like to be. I have a favorite saying. It's in the book. The line between being a genius and an idiot is very fine, and I've been on both sides. So one chapter is Idiot to Genius, the WFAN, because nobody thought it would work, and when it worked, I was a genius. And the next chapter is Genius to Idiot, because I was the boy wonder. We went to Seattle. Everybody had high hopes. It didn't work, and so I went from genius to idiot in Seattle. So that's life.
Yeah, it is. And then the reinvention of one's self, not the easiest thing to do, but it.
No.
We live longer today. It seems there's no age limit on reinventing yourself, is there?
No, we went through the ups and downs of the media business, especially radio, and really suffered all the major debt that, I know you work at Town Square, wonderful group. They've been through it. Just about every major company either went bankrupt or came close. We were fortunate. We got out of it, and we ended up fine. And now we're just doing new things.
What are you doing today?
We have a number of businesses. We have a sound business that controls sound. We joke that for years we wanted people to listen to stuff, and now we want to control sound so people can carry on conversations in offices without interrupting the next person. And then we have a dynamic pricing business, which really sets prices for all sorts of events, concerts and performances and zoos and aquariums and all sorts of things. It's been a fun business. And then we have a business where we produce content for companies that want to do podcasting and general marketing.
Boy,
yeah.
Well, I don't know where you're going, but I will. What a change we're going through and a transformation media is going through
right
today, and it's not just radio, but all forms. There's such a huge transformation. It's almost like we're back to those pioneer days where we're learning the where this business is going today.
Well, yeah, and the book talks about the different things, streaming and digital stuff and podcasting and the metaverse and things like that. About sometimes there's a lot of things that are cool that consumers like, but they're not a really good business. So we talk about all that. Obviously, if you've done this for 40 years, you've seen everything.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, for somebody listening to this and they might be working a 40-hour week, whether they're in manufacturing or they're sitting in a desk 40 hours a week, it seems like we've evolved to a workforce that we want to work when we want to work, and we're willing to be passionate about certain things that are important to us.
Yeah.
What do you advise somebody who wants to break away from that and start their own story?
Well, I've said everybody's an entrepreneur of their own life. I joke I'm an entrepreneur because I'm not hireable by anybody else in a free society. But we really all control our own lives. I've always said, do what you love. Find something you love. If you love something, you work harder at it. You'll be good at it. That's one of my lessons that I've learned.
And you in the midst of success for an entrepreneur, you really can't talk about success without talking about the failures, right?
Absolutely right. When I speak to college kids, I always say, go out in the world and fail. And they go, why did we bring this guy in to speak?
Right.
But you're really never gonna. I've never met anybody who hasn't failed. And the great lessons of life are learned in adversity. They're not a lot of fun. But I said, the things we did in Seattle were some of the best management we ever did. It was a failing project. But when you're up against the wall, you're more creative. You work harder. You come up with some more interesting solutions. Sometimes it doesn't always work, though.
The book is Never Ride a Roller Coaster Upside Down, the ups, downs, and reinvention of an entrepreneur. Jeff Smilan, thank you for the time. We appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thanks, guys.
Have a great day.
Bye.
That is so cool. The guy who had the push, the idea to make WFAN a sports talk radio station.
We were at at the time I was at a country station, small country station, just starting my career. And, we would cover the Mets games. We'd cover the Little Falls Mets games. So there was a real connection between what was going on in New York. And I'd always have that feed coming up from WHN in New York City, which was their approach to country music was, it was a pop station that just so happened to play country. And, oh, by the way, they throw in some, they throw in a Creedence song. They throw in stuff that kind of, you could say was country-ish, but wasn't in the category of country. So they gave country music a completely different approach, and they carried the Mets games.
Very cool.
It was, and then when they made the switch, it did start with 86 because everything went extended. They began extending programming. It was like all Mets all the time for the week of the World Series and the playoffs, and you just knew something's going on. And then a year later, they launched WFAN, all sports.
Yeah, of course, Davey.
It'll never work.
Well,
that's what you hear.
Yeah, it's funny. And there was some questions about launching it in the #1 media market. If it's not going to work anywhere, it certainly won't work here. But of course, the '69 World Series. I was gonna do my little Mad Dog impersonation, but it's not polished. But he says Baltimore, not Baltimore, Baltimore. And I was gonna throw, dog. Yeah. Anyway, go ahead.
I got a break.
Terrible.
Actually, we've got a few minutes. If you want, we can just keep rolling. Still a ton of comments we've had all morning long on this Complete Streets thing. I do just feel like, if you want to do it, if you feel like it's the way to go, we elect people to the Common Council, we elect mayors to make decisions and to plow forward, and, we're not going to like everything they come up with. I kind of feel like this is that. And while you could do a traffic study, you then can do your public hearings, and then you make a decision. If we put everything up to a debate in public, nothing in the world will ever get done.
Right. And then what will happen? Things will get done, and then we'll be undoing them 3 weeks later after we've thought about it.
And I do think that's kind of what we're dealing with here. I mean, just do it and accept the consequences, or don't.
Sorry, I was distracted by John in Bridgewater's comments. John, I can't say that on the air. Tom in Holland Patton says, good morning, Jeff. This is the guy who, anybody going to the Jimmy Fallon show, which there are a lot of people who are. By the way, the 5th show is almost sold out.
Jimmy is in the 17th and 18th. We've added a 5th show. It's a matinee at 5 p.m. at Fat Cats Comedy Club.
So Tom in Holland Patton, and I believe I mentioned this earlier this week, he's got tickets to the...
he wants to switch from Saturday to Friday.
Yeah.
Which show? 7 o'clock show? And I can't. There's no room to do it. The shows are... We're putting as many people in the seats as we can.
So we told Tom he could call in. He's going to call tomorrow and see if there's somebody who's got tickets to a different show who wants to trade. What you said he wants to go
so
Saturday to Friday.
You got tickets maybe Friday, but you'd be okay with going Saturday. He'd like to trade tickets.
Yeah,
How many does he have?
He did tell me. I don't know. It might be just a pair.
So they opened up the 5th show, the matinee, and it was opened up on just as we started the week off.
Yeah,
and. We could fit about 100 people. 65 are sold already.
That's
so
incredible.
that it will sell out as well. He will sell out 5 shows here. He'll do his show. He'll be in studio with us all morning, and that's cool. Then he'll do his show around the country from this studio, and then he'll be performing all weekend long. Jimmy is on fire.
He is on fire.
He is on every show on Fox. He has become unbelievably popular.
And amazingly, he took the time to text me back yesterday, which I appreciate. And
I heard from him yesterday, too.
You know that he may not be traveling alone, and I guess I'll just leave it there. But I might even have some new info for you based on the text
so that's
he
a
sent
done
me.
deal?
No, it's not, but he will not be traveling alone.
I had said it will be there may be some surprises he's coming up with.
He's got a couple.
He'll be letting me sign autographs when I attend the show.
Okay, Davey. We also announced that Davey will be one of the openers, like an MC, during at least one of the shows. Jeff as well. But listen, this is a huge IBX event. This guy's enormous. We're one of the first stations to pick him up.
Mm-hmm.
And really, you were instrumental in that, Jeff.
He's so funny, and I told him this, and look, don't get mad at me. But the first time I listened to a show, again, I was in and Rush was on the air for decades here, and I was in the Rush mode.
And how do you replace Rush?
You don't. You don't.
Yeah.
So don't look for somebody who looks to emulate him. Look for somebody who finds their own path. And when I first listened to his show, I was still in that mold, and I said, well, this doesn't make sense. But then I listened to it a second time, and I went, oh, this makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he's just really funny, a great personality, very funny comedian, and he throws around some political banter, obviously, very well. right? He always says on the show here, get the sound effect ready. You can be a Democrat, you can be a Republican, just don't be a
beep.
There you go. So all are welcome to the table.
So for tickets, you'd go to fatcatscomedyclub.com, and you'd purchase them right there. And the only one open is the 5 p.m. show on the 18th of February. This weekend, Eddie Clark will be in studio tomorrow morning. Love when these comedians come in. They have such great stories, and a lot of them have been doing this for years, and, they're just hilarious people.
And then if we can go back to Utica for just 1 second, there are 4 announced candidates for mayor so far. Do you expect a 5th or a 6th?
I wouldn't be surprised if it stays right where it is.
Yeah, I'm hearing there's some consideration being
I've
given.
heard there's somebody thinking.
Yeah.
Who knows? Listen, we got to go. News, top of the hour, then Brian Kilmeade on WIBX.
Are you ready to make the most important decision for your child's future? Some are easy, some are not. Some make all the difference, like choosing Notre Dame schools. Offering grades pre-K through 12, your child will be ready to learn and thrive in a challenging atmosphere surrounded by great teachers and the most current technology. Notre Dame offers small class sizes, high academic standards, and spiritual fulfillment. At Notre Dame, we foster an environment of diversity and community. Students feel supported and more confident in achieving their goals. Our students learn from each other and are challenged to grow and develop their innate talents. Notre Dame is faith-based, but everyone is welcome. If you have higher expectations for your child, Notre Dame offers a higher level experience. If you're ready to launch your child's future into the most successful career path and build the next generation of leaders, call today for a tour or visit NotreDameUtica.org. Notre Dame schools ready to learn, destined to lead.
From the Stanley Theater Studio, WIBX 950 Utica Rome, W295DI Utica Rome, your news, talk, and sports leader, a Town Square media station.
The economy is still growing, but not quite as much. I'm Dave Anthony, Fox News. We just got an update this morning.
The economy saw modest growth at the end of last year. The 2.9% increase in the gross domestic product was stronger than expected, though weaker than the reading for the fall quarter. Last year saw the economy cool from the quick rebound and growth of 2021.
That's Fox's Jenny Casola. The reaction on Wall Street, stock futures rising ahead of the opening bell this hour. We'll get the president's reaction later as another company cuts jobs.
Chemical giant Dow announcing plans to lay off 2,000 workers. Dow is just the latest American corporation slashing its workforce as President Biden prepares to speak in Northern Virginia later today about the economy. Now, Dow joins other blue chips, IBM, Microsoft, Amazon, 3M, Goldman, Bed Bath & Beyond, and others announcing layoffs. Many business and world leaders say a recession is looming.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson. Russia went on the attack this morning in Ukraine, launching dozens of missiles and exploding drones. Most were shot down, but others did damage. At least one person killed the day after the U.S. and Germany and our allies announced they'll send tanks to Ukraine to help battle Russia. A new call for Congress to pass stricter gun laws.
Can they do something? Yes. Should they do something? Yes. Will they do something? That is where we all must speak up.
Vice President Harris in Monterey Park, California, offering condolences at the scene of Saturday's dance hall shooting that left 11 people dead. The gunman killed himself. They still have no idea his motive. An FDA advisory panel meets today to consider a flu-like change to COVID vaccine recommendations that most of us get a shot once a year. In California, an order from a judge
preventing the state from enforcing the so-called medical misinformation law that would allow the Medical Board of California to discipline doctors who support opinions about COVID-19 not in line with what lawmakers called contemporary scientific consensus.
Fox's Jack Callahan. The doctors who sued say it violates free speech rights. America's listening to Fox News.
My friend had his home stolen. The crime is home title theft. It's real. It's horrendous, but it's real, and it's everywhere. Now, luckily, this was just a demo, but I saw how criminals all around the world target American homeowners, and that's why I protect my home with Home Title Lock, and you need to as well. And a thief can simply forge your signature on a legal document claiming you sold your home to them. Homeowners insurance and common identity theft programs do not protect you, but Home Title Lock does. So protect yourself. Just go to their website. It's HometitleLock.com/Sean, S-E-A-N.